on.
Yeah. All right. Hi, Val.
And here we had dismissed you for not having power. You could have just stayed away and been
Unless you're just cycling to produce power for your computer.
What would we have to add to the agenda? There was
Is it
something in.
Just the lister?
Adding the appointment of a lister, Doug Corkins,
That was it? That was the only thing, Valerie?
so far that I know of.
Yeah, I think so. Okay. All right, Sharon.
Overview of Zoom meeting operation and procedures, rules for participation, mute your microphone. Be recognized by the chair when we select them. Okay, organizational matters for the select board. First on the agenda is to swear in new and or re-elected select board members.
Swear in or swear out?
Swear, wow.
It's not mutually exclusive, you can do both.
You can stand, you can read your oath and then sign it, and then you can read your oath and sign it as
Do they
well.
have to read it out loud?
They don't have to if they don't want
Okay.
to. It's up to them if they want to read it out
I will
loud.
read it out loud.
Okay.
Since she's new, she
What,
can
Yeah.
what is our oath?
This is
Good to know.
exciting.
You
No, I-
read it every.
I just
Do you want to go first, Joel, or
Go
you?
ahead.
Okay,
You read yours.
okay. I, Jessica Teets, do solemnly swear, affirm that I will faithfully execute the office of Select Board for 2 years within and for said town, and will therein do equal right and justice to all persons in the best of my judgment and my abilities according to law. I also solemnly swear, affirm that I will support the Constitution of the state of Vermont and of the United States.
And I
Sign
the
you one.
same ones for 3 years?
Yes, and Jessica's is for 2 years. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next order is elected chair.
No, I move we appoint Joel Bouvier chair.
Well,
Second.
actually, Joel was just reelected, right?
Yeah,
So he needs to do the oaths too.
He did.
he did. He just-
did.
Oh, okay, I didn't
I
catch,
just read it. I didn't.
got it.
Do we have a motion and a second for Joel as chair?
Sharon, you're not done yet. You have to call for a vote.
Yep. You
Okay,
have to go over.
Any discussion? Yes, no?
Sharon, you call for a vote?
call for a vote. Everybody who wants to.
Subject Joel to being chair.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
All against,
No.
vote carried.
There, now you can give it away.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, Sharon.
Second order of business, elect the vice chair.
I believe it's Michelle's turn. I nominate Michelle.
Second.
Can I decline later?
You can
Not
decline, you
later.
can decline now.
You can decline now, but you can't
Is
decline.
there any
later.
other appointees for vice chair? Any others? Hearing none, all those in favor of electing Michelle Pearlie as vice chair, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
4-1.
Eyes carry it.
Ayes carried.
Okay, you got it.
All you gotta do to avoid being chair is not run next year.
No, I got one more
Oh, you
year.
got one more year?
Designated regular meeting schedule subject to occasional modifications.
Which is typically what, the
The second
second,
and the fourth Mondays of the month.
so move.
Second,
Second, is there any discussion? I just do we want to set the timer or leak that for that motion? Usually it's 7 o'clock unless otherwise modified.
other than sometimes
Yeah, I would
6,
say,
yeah.
I would add in a time, because we usually just modify it in terms of
Yeah.
later on.
I'd like to see us maybe December through March, maybe look at going, starting at 6. So winter months, I know it's tough for you sometimes,
Right.
Ian, but the kids are getting older, maybe you can get away a little bit.
6 sounds good.
Maybe you'll wanna get away.
Right.
Because some of those budget meetings.
Five,
go to
maybe.
11
Yeah,
o'clock,
yeah.
it's pretty late to make it. but
Yes,
it's 8.
Right.
Okay, so we have a motion to have the first, the second and fourth Monday as a regular meeting schedule, subject to occasional modifications. Hearing any more comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Make a motion to have the Addison Independent as our newspaper of record.
Second.
Motion is second. It's our only newspaper of record here in town, so I guess all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. Okay, designated official polling locations for the town. Currently, it's the town office, Lawrence Memorial Library, Bristol Beverage, and the website.
Posting location, because that's where you said
Post-
polling.
Did I say posting? I said posting locations for the town.
I think those have all worked well. Shaw's, we used to do Shaw's, but they no longer have a
Bulletin
pinboard,
board, right.
bulletin board anymore, yeah, so we took that off.
For the website, does this also mean Front Porch Forum or just the town
The
website?
town website.
Yeah, we've talked about Front Porch Forum, and Val always posts it anyway, but I don't think we've ever had it.
It's not
as part of-
official.
Right, I guess,
Official.
I know she puts the
Website.
agenda on front of it.
right,
Meetings coming up.
And also we found that Front Porch Forum has limits on how many postings any one person can post in a certain month. And so more than once I've reached my limit. So there could be times when I can't actually physically post it because it won't let me
So we'll post it there when we can, but.
when we
can't-
can, or somebody else can post it if they can. But yeah, it's an extra,
it's-
but we can't guarantee that it'll always be possible.
So it's just not official.
so Val, you have reached limits before where you.
Oh,
you are
yeah,
unable to
they-
post?
yeah, yeah.
I thought I set up for towns to be able to have unlimited postings, but. oh,
I
that's
think Front
interesting.
Porch Forum has their own policies.
Right,
Yeah.
okay,
Okay. If you need a fourth one, Valerie, the bank has a bulletin board by their ATM, the National
Oh.
Bank. You can put one there if you
We
want.
only need two, I believe.
right.
I believe so, Peter, so. Any more comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Opposed?
Who moved, who seconded? You never got a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Well, I thought, yeah.
Maybe I missed
as
it.
you,
No,
Michelle
nobody
corrected me on the
No,
word.
Yeah, I talked about it, but I haven't.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All right, motion and second.
We already voted.
Yeah, they already voted. so.
No, you didn't vote.
We're just getting through this.
All right. Authorize the
You
treasurer.
probably should vote.
Okay, all those in favor of designating those three physical locations on the website, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
Sorry, Joe.
It's all right.
I just gotta
You gotta
get.
get a little rusty here. Authorize treasurer's office to process weekly payroll with the select board approving warrants twice a month.
So moved.
Second,
There's a motion and a second. Any comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay,
So those warrants are the first ones there in the packet,
Mhm.
and we get those, what, twice a month?
and we get
And then
that.
the other
Sometimes
ones,
more than that.
yeah, and then the other ones are the actual bills, which she'll send you via email, so you can review them ahead of time, or you can look at them there.
Okay. Review of select board rules of procedure. Okay,
So this is an annual exercise to it's an opportunity for the select board to reacquaint themselves with the provisions of the rules of procedure. And for those who hadn't seen them before, to become familiar with them. They guide how the select board meetings are arranged and some of the structure of how the meeting should be run. One thing that has evolved over the years is email communication. And it's generally, and I believe the rules of procedure reflect this, that email communications are okay for organizational kind of things. Are people available to meet on a certain day or a certain what time, or just those kinds of just organizational communications, but there should not be a quorum of the select board actually discussing items by email. There might be rare occasions where, because of time sensitive matters, where there is an email thread that requires some sort of decision making, that it is, our rules of procedure allow it, subject to it being ratified at the next open meeting. So it becomes a public record, and that there's a record of that decision having been made. And there have been times during flood events and whatnot where we've needed to make some quick decisions, and then later added that to an agenda as to ratify.
what about fewer numbers of select board members discussing something? Is there?
3 members is a quorum, so 2 or less. You You can talk to yourself.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay,
As long as you don't have multiple personalities,
Right,
then it could
that's
be.
You're right.
Yeah, 3 is a quorum.
And
okay.
you had sent that in your.
Yeah, that's on the website.
On the website, you'd sent that actually this week, I saw it, one of my emails, with your TA report, you sent that, rules of procedure.
Yeah.
And that 250 pages from the VLCT handbook, it was 250 pages there, didn't get into reading all that.
Do we need, Val, is that something we sign each year, or did we sign? it
No,
because it
we
was
changed the
mission?
protocol. Originally, when we first set this up, it would be that the select board needs to re-adopt it every year, but that became onerous. So instead, we just, unless there are changes proposed, we just add it to the agenda so that it's acknowledged and reviewed and discussed. And again, unless there are changes proposed, we don't need to do anything more.
Okay, so we don't need a motion a second to, or we do? You want a motion a second to?
No,
we're
just says
it's
review.
review.
Okay,
yeah.
review, okay.
I think maybe it might be good to point out to Jessica that, you know, as a select board member, you have no say alone, which you probably already know. You have no ability to spend funds, so everything has to be done through the board, and it'll save. We've had a couple of situations where we've called each other out on it, and we try to do that in executive session so that it's not a bloodbath on camera, but just, you know, just be aware of that. When you're alone, you are just a citizen. You can take complaints and that, but best not to agree
To make
to.
any promises.
Yes, so.
Right.
And-
Unless it's been previously discussed, like we all take on different projects that we're interested in for things that the board is working on, but a lot of those discussions are public discussions, and then you're sort of updating.
Yeah,
as
if
projects
you're
go
directed
forward.
if you're directed by the select board as a person to
Right,
convey
be
that
a point person
information,
or,
yeah,
yeah,
then it's fine.
Or if somebody sees you at Shaw's or wherever and said, I saw you at the meeting, I'm zooming in and you were discussing this and they have an opinion, saying, okay, I'll make note of that, and I will bring it in front of the board. Be one of your concerns, you can do that,
Sounds good.
okay?
One of the other things, and this kind of goes into the next topic about liaisons, is that select board members, and I'm not sure if how clear it is in the rules of procedure, but select board members should not be going directly to department heads and directing department heads to do X, Y, or Z. Instead, if select board members have a concern or a request of a department head or a department, it should come through me, and then I would kind of weigh that with everything else going on and pass that along. But select board members, individual select board members are discouraged from communicating directly with department heads in terms of do this or do that, or I think you should do this, or I think you should do that.
Is there a scale for that? Like dropping off one of my kids, I come back and I see that the flashing sign, the speed sign is out. So oftentimes I would just send a text to Bruce letting him know. Something like that is fine, but if it's a bigger kind of project that needs to be discussed by the entire
Right.
board.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I think those kinds of things are helpful. As a citizen, you could do that.
Right.
To department heads and say, hey, the street light's out or whatever.
Okay.
But
Well, that could be a good gauge, whether you could do it as a citizen versus having
Right.
being a select board member. and doing it.
Right.
Okay.
You know, I've called there on a Sunday afternoon, said, has anybody told you that it's drifting up by, by the DBT?
Right.
No, and nobody called me, okay, thanks.
Okay.
And the citizen can do the same thing.
Right, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, review of conflict of interest policy.
So this is a standard policy. And basically, it being a small town and being that so many people wear many different hats and have many different interests in the town, it's almost unavoidable at times where an individual might have an actual or perceived conflict of interest. The typical metric is financial conflict of interest, or in terms of financial benefit of a decision being made, or the appearance of bias, not being impartial in a decision-making situation. And everybody's got opinions for sure. But the metric here is to disclose whatever that might be, perceived or real. If there's a real financial perceived or real or perceived financial benefit, or a real or perceived bias, then it should be disclosed, and it's up to the select board members and public to say, that's okay. On the scale of things, we understand and we accept that that you'll be able to act impartially, or that this particular decision will not be of specific financial benefit to you. But if anybody says, yeah, I'm really not comfortable with this, then the best protocol would be for that person to recuse themselves and not participate in the discussion and vote.
Okay.
And a way to distinguish this too, in terms of benefit or gain, for example, with zoning, where districts are being discussed, and standards in districts and lot sizes and this and that. And for select board members that might live in a particular district that might benefit from a lot size change, well, their benefit is no different than anybody else's in that district. So on that metric, they're no different than anybody else that's living there. So as a citizen, you can acknowledge that and move on.
Okay,
That's good.
ready? Designate select board liaison to town departments. I know, Ian, you have the police and fire.
I have police and fire and the library.
Library. I have the water and the landfill, the solid waste district, because I'm a member of the solid waste district. And the listers. Michelle, you have,
I have planning commission, revolving loan fund. That's it.
I think so. Beaker's Public Works, that's the largest, so he's a single one.
And truck committee.
And truck committee, yeah, he's part of the truck committee, equipment committee for the public works, yes.
So prior to Darla's departure, she was the liaison for the recreation department and for the town office, which includes the clerk, treasurer, and the planning and zoning office.
How do you feel about that, Jessica?
Is that okay with you?
Those all sound good. I am a trustee for the
Yeah,
library.
I was thinking
so-
that maybe if you want a break, she could do the library
Right,
as well, because she's gonna be there anyway.
Right.
exactly. So that one's easy.
Well, speaking back to the one we just talked about, conflict of interest, would we
that
want
be
to
a
put,
conflict?
would we want to put Jessica in that spot?
I think all it's doing is relaying information between the two. That's the liaison's
Okay.
job. The liaison's
just-
job isn't to make decisions
No.
for,
No,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they'll have minutes too. So if what she says contradicts what the minutes say, then
I'll be in trouble.
yeah.
But also, if there's something for a vote and it's a close vote, I can just recuse myself from
Right.
that.
There's not that much with the library. We're in charge of the building. The building is ours, and
Staff is theirs.
what happens at the library happens at the
Yeah.
library, so it's not.
Right, there's very little overlap between the library board of trustees and the select board, two very different realms.
Yeah, I'd be fine if you're comfortable with that. I'd also be fine taking on one of the others versus you starting with three. Maybe you want to start with the library. So what were the ones, Val, what were the ones that Darla had?
Recreation and town office.
Okay,
What's your preference of those two?
I mean, recreation sounds fun, so.
I'm happy to take.
Good deal.
If Sharon will accept me.
Yeah.
Okay, you got the thumbs up.
okay,
Okay, that sounds good.
All right.
But also I would be happy to take one back a little bit
Yeah.
later, so you don't have to do too much work.
So town office, did I hear that Ian was?
He's got nothing better to do,
Yeah,
right?
Just those bus shelters.
Well, since he already does the town report so well.
That's right. Well, that's done now. I
Yeah,
don't have to work on that for a while.
Yeah.
So town office would be, I'll put my name down for that. So I'm
Take
police,
him off the library.
yeah. And then library would go to Jessica.
Jessica has the library and the rec.
and recreation.
All the
Okay.
fun ones.
Sounds good.
Okay.
So you think.
Alrighty.
Sorry.
Public forum, 5 minutes per person to speak on something that's not on the agenda. For up to 5 minutes, anybody want to speak? You're here for something.
Got a hand up.
Sally? Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. I'm not sure who actually ran the town meeting. Was it the select board or the town office? But I just want to say that it was really just great. And I wanted to congratulate everyone for having such a good meeting with no shouting and everybody having opinions, but not getting upset. And anyway, that you may have seen on Front Porch Forum, there's been a conversation about hopefully getting more younger people to attend if we change the time or the day or something. I don't really know the procedure, but first of all, I think it would be good to know if it's even possible to change anything or if it's set in stone.
It is totally possible to change that. And in fact, this is going to be an agenda item on tonight's agenda under number 3 under regular business, the town meeting redux.
Okay, I looked at the agenda, I didn't see it, so thank you.
Mhm.
Okay.
Thank you, Sally. Any other public forum out there? See any? Okay. All righty, department head roundtable. Let's start with Brett. I see you're up there, so let's start with you. Or did you send something in?
He's right
Yeah. What's up? I'll let you get settled. Bruce, you on?
Yeah, he's on.
I saw him there.
I was Brett on, but then Brett's here, what?
He can be in 2 places.
I guess, no, there's
Bruce, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Like the magic of
Okay.
it.
I just wanted to thank Sharon for all that she does for us department heads, especially after the departure of the treasurer. Anytime we have any kind of question, if she doesn't know the answer, she's been finding it. And for over a year, I've been trying to get our reports up to date for the grant. And she took the time and completed that for us. And I just can't thank her enough for all that she does for us. I don't know how we would survive if she wasn't there at the office. So thank you, Sharon.
I echo that.
Okay,
Thanks, Bruce.
we haven't heard from the listeners in quite some time. Mark, you want to go ahead? I see you're on. Mark, you there? Mark Bouvier? No? He's not.
Well, Patricia,
Patricia, you're on?
maybe they're commiserating.
Okay.
He's not
There she
talking
is.
to me.
There you go. There you're on.
Um,
Patty.
Hi, we are finishing up all our inspections to get ready for it to be done by April 1st. We've got some PTTRs to do, and we've got a bunch of inspections. Our contractor is doing some for us, and he said he's working on those this week. And I spoke to Doug today, and he is enjoying Florida and the spring training games that he's going to, but he's going to be back and he's going to be busy making some phone calls, arranging, telling people that we're coming. We haven't had.
That's
too much-
presuming that this added agenda item for him to be appointed by the select
Right.
board.
So I'm encouraging you to appoint him. And homestead declarations are coming in. So we're updating the system for that. And right now we're going through 2 different systems to do that. We start in Nemrick. We upload it to the new Vermont Pi, and then we go back into Nemrick to make sure that if somebody's got rental use or outbuildings that are being used for business, that it's notated and we're making comments to that fact. Been going pretty smoothly. But we're busy. And I guess that's about it. I don't know if Mark's on there, if he wants to add anything.
Well, he's on, but his microphone's muted and he probably walked away from the camera. So thank you, Patty.
Okay,
Jill, you want to give us a quick one on the water?
So this week is the full water read. So Cyrus started that today and did the outskirts of the system, which is awesome, so that the rest of it is pretty walkable for myself and for Brittany to continue. As we're doing that, we are also going to hit the same area. We've got maybe 65 service line inventory sheets left to drop on doorknobs, knock and hope that we get an answer, but drop on doorknobs. After that, everyone will have received a service line inventory request with their June bill last year, a service line request with their September bill last year, many social media requests by Valerie, a personal drop on their door and a knock on their door by us. And anybody that's left that hasn't responded by the time the water read is done towards the end of this week, and when Sharon is ready to send them out this week, will receive it again in their March water bill. So that'll be 4 hard requests. After that, it's going to be continuing to go door to door, because we don't have, if they haven't contacted us back, we don't have a phone number for them necessarily. There's a lot of rental properties in Bristol, so there's many people that are renting a particular space that don't know and aren't necessarily even there. So we've got about, I think, 235 left that are still a question mark because we haven't had access or an answer from a property owner.
So you have 235, so but 65 haven't even responded out of the 235?
No, there's 65 left that I haven't specifically knocked on their door and hung a flyer. Everybody else has had a knock on the door and a flyer hung that hadn't responded.
Okay.
So you're about 2/3 in compliance?
Yep, we're getting there. We are. It's just a lot of work. So, but we're getting there. So yeah, it's just, I think this last 1/3 is the hard stretch, because they're not responding for whatever reason. They're not responding, and it's not getting easier to get them to respond. So we'll probably just have to change our methods again after we get our next round of responses. Basically, the next round of door knocking and hanging that we'll do along with the water read, because we're going to be at the same houses for those last 65. And then the mailing that goes out with the, what I'll call the first quarter of the year. It's the 3rd quarter of the fiscal year bills, those March bills. After a month after that is when I think the approach is going to have to change to something even more aggressive to get those last responses that we'll need.
Okay.
And I don't mean aggressive, I mean assertive. We're not mean. We're very nice. Just mean like, get it done. That kind of movement.
Okay. Anything else for us? Go to the order?
No, there's more stuff that'll come up in future meetings, but they're in process right now, so I won't bring them up.
Okay.
Thanks, Jill.
Thanks, Jill. Brett, it's here.
Hi, can you hear me okay from here?
Yeah, no, you're all set.
I know you can hear me. Yeah, just a couple quick updates. Well, so far today, the fire department, we've responded to 35 calls for service. We've had a lot of training opportunities so far this year, and that trend will continue this month with 4 additional opportunities for everyone. We have a candidate. The members had an opportunity to meet this prospective candidate last week at our monthly staff meeting. We have an interview scheduled for next Monday, and if all goes well, be back here in 2 weeks for their appointment. Engine 1, the town's new pumper that was ordered last summer, just like anything new, whether it's a building or a vehicle, it has a punch list. So that vehicle went down to Lakes Region in New Hampshire a couple weeks ago, and the final items on the punch list were addressed. Big thanks to Nathan Buska for 2 trips down there, one to leave it, and 7 hours round trip. So we thank him for that. And Naylor and Breen is currently at the fire station. They were there all day today indoors, painting the new clapboards to repair all the damage from the severe winds we had, that and the flashing work that needs to be done. So if you haven't seen it, there's a large lift out in the back parking lot for their use. And we're continuing to effectuate the interior of the fire station, painted a couple more rooms last weekend. So almost 8 years in those rooms.
For the Naylor and Breen, they had a solution for the exterior to keep those boards on potentially.
Screwing it.
Oh, okay.
They
were nailed before.
The wind gets under them,
Yeah.
it's just so strong over there. I mean, it blew in a garage door panel. That's how
Yeah.
strong the wind was that day. So.
I mean, are there things that can be done to sort of, to mediate that in terms of like tree plantings or something? And if it's coming from, I guess, where the new building is, I mean, does having that new building there
I
protect?
would leave that up to you.
It'd be years before a tree would protect that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, I wonder, does having that new building there do anything or
It
is it?
doesn't seem to, it comes
Okay.
over it.
Okay,
And it's really the north and the south.
oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just-
That's hitting,
So
okay.
it's no different than being over on the grounds of the high school. It's just.
Yeah, so
really
it's just open and, yeah, okay.
Okay.
All right, great.
Is
Unless
that
you
it?
have any questions, that's all I got.
No? Eric, you didn't think I'd forget you, did you?
I was hoping.
No.
Snow.
We got the new front end into the Freightliner, that's all back up and going. Just normal stuff, fixing stuff as they break and plowing. I wanna thank everybody, all the residents, for being patient today. For plowing, cause with the roads being soft and the amount of snow that we got, it was slow going. Very, very slow. Especially on the dirt. So I wanna thank them for being patient. And then I'd like to reiterate what Bruce said. I wanna thank Sharon, she does a lot for me as well. And then one other thing is I'm looking back into, the pickup broom for the loader. I've gotten one price already, I'm waiting on two more. So when I get them two prices, I'll come before you guys on the board and I'll show you the prices and then we can go from there.
The pickup broom is the spring cleanup broom, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because of the increase in our,
Oh, that's right,
Sweeping
because we're contracting it out. Okay.
Right.
All right. Yeah, I'd say the roads were great. The sidewalks were excellent too. I'm sure Mike's been out the entire day, maybe, or whoever it
Well,
was.
we have an issue with truck two, and we gotta figure out what's going on with that.
Which truck is that here?
What's that?
What truck is that for?
The village truck.
Oh, okay.
Right now, the PTO, drive shaft is falling off the pump, 3 times now. So, yeah, and Sunday night it fell off on him up on the upper notch. Yeah, crawl under the truck, put it back on and,
Didn't you say that was a village truck?
yeah.
What's it doing in the upper? Checking roads.
No, he was sawing the pavement.
I'm just
So,
thinking.
I know you are. So what happens with truck two, once the village gets done, I have the truck go do me hand salting and then the not salting. So when the village is all done. So Sunday night when we were out, I wanted to get salt down before the roads are awful wet. And I wanted to get some salt on before it dropped below freezing. And when he was up there salting that, the PTO, the shaft came off again. And he got it back on, he got it back to the shop. And then him and Colby, fixed it. And then it came off again today. So I don't know if something's worn.
Is it short? Is it's separating?
It's pulling, yeah, it's sliding right off the splines. So it's got,
So it's flexing enough, so it's
it's got
separating.
2 set screws in it and working it back and forth is loosening them up. And then it just, then it just keeps sliding back off. So Mike worked on it today, him and Chris did it, and tomorrow, Mike came up with an idea, which was a pretty good idea, is to actually take the shaft and drill, not through it, but just drill into it a little bit. And then that way you could set the screw, the set screw would actually go into the shaft a little,
The shaft's on the pump.
on the pump.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking maybe putting another, set screw on top of the one that's in there to like double set screw it. See if that would help. If not, I'm thinking of drilling a hole right through the whole thing.
Well, you could always use a bolt instead of a set screw and put a nut on it, so you could.
That's
lock it
what
against.
Colby and Chris did Sunday night, and that backed off.
Hmm.
So, I don't know.
It's working.
It's gotta be an
Yeah,
awful lot of vibration.
Yeah.
So we gotta figure that out tomorrow and see what we can do there.
And I don't squat about.
Dynamite.
Yeah, it sounded good.
I don't squat about
Yeah, it sounded
that.
really good now.
Is that it there? You got all, anything else?
Not that.
Are you going home to take a nap? You look really tired.
I might do it here.
I just
And
thinking if
Sharon-
that, would you go home and take a
Yeah.
nap?
Sharon, you have you went through Tuesday, we had good voting and big
Yes,
crowd.
we
and
did.
You got out of here, I got out of here at 9, you were still here, 10 o'clock at night when I left, so.
She sent an email at 10 something, I think it
Yeah,
was.
so you got
I
it.
did, yeah, but I left Chris in charge, because they didn't get done putting the ballots for the school through until after 11.
Wow.
Because
All right.
their
Schools.
tabulator broke and they had to
Oh,
use
did
Yeah, they
that.
had to
Yeah.
use ours, yeah, so, but Chris came back from, Hannaford's with Beaker, so he offered to stay. I was like, okay, I'm setting out my thing, I'm out of here.
Bye.
I've been here since whatever.
6 o'clock, though.
Well, actually, I got here about 5:45. Eric was sitting out front waiting for me.
Waiting for it.
Okay, anything else?
Yes, our new treasurer started today,
Okay.
and he spent the day going through the emails so he could see what kind of traffic we get, going through, dumping the ones that are just
Junk.
junk. And writing down questions that he had on other things to see if there's stuff in there that has or hasn't been done. I said probably a lot of it has already been done, it's just that nobody's really, we check it every so often, but we weren't going through them and dumping them out or.
Make that list and then say,
Yeah.
check with Sharon.
Yeah.
So he seemed to have a pretty good first day. He's on his way. He got a lot done on the email. And next week, Monday afternoon, he will start training with Nemrick. So that'll be good. We'll start getting him up and running. And I sent him a task for the police department, the 957 deferred compensation plan. One of the police officers wants to go on it. We used to have it, but it's been a couple of years since we had it, and they've actually been bought out by somebody else. So I got the information for that, and the new area rep sent me an email, so I sent it to Justin and said, go ahead and
Figure it out.
It's a good first task for you, because I got it just before the election, so I hadn't had time to deal with it, so.
Nice delegating.
Nice, okay.
That's great. And yeah, I saw, he had set up a nice response. He was
Yes,
CC'd on an
he did tell
email,
me that.
which is great. I mean, that's a useful thing. So if like you had been emailing with him or sent a new email, you're getting a response knowing that there's a new treasurer and, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah, because when I sent him the email today, it still said it's vacant, so I told him, I said, you need to change that.
Yeah, no, he did. So it's good.
Okay,
Oh, one more thing.
yeah, okay, so you're all set, is that it? Sure. Anything else?
Yeah, that's the big thing.
Yeah,
I just wanted to let everybody know that we're moving snow tonight on Main Street.
I did see the light on that.
So,
You better move your car or I'm towing it, right? You may tow it with a plow.
Joel, I have one alibi.
Okay,
Just to recall during budget season, I spoke about a utility truck and the donation we received. So we're well into specking out a vehicle. And hopefully we'll have something, not in 2 weeks, but maybe in 4 weeks to come back to you all with, to chew on, take a look at.
Excellent.
So,
Oh, I do have one more thing.
yes.
Well, we may have another election by the end of this month.
For the
Okay.
school budget.
How fast
For the
the
school?
school does it, because they only, once they file the warning, they have to have a meeting within 5 days. And then within 7 days of the warning, they can have another vote. So we're just waiting to see what they're gonna decide. So it's a quick turnaround.
They file the warning, right?
No, they haven't, but as
Oh,
soon as they do, they can have a vote within 7 days as long as they have the meeting within 5.
Okay,
So, and it's not going to be, they're not gonna use a tabulator, they're gonna do a hand count. So
Does a tabulator add cost to it? Is
it does, you have to have
Balance made.
everything programmed and whatnot, and it does take longer, so they're just gonna do probably like a half page, like we do for the
Yeah.
police district.
Okay.
And just count it, they'll have everybody bring them to probably the supervisory union and commingle them and then hand count them there.
Okay.
But they'll have to do it here at the building unless there's some reason they can't.
Okay. And I think they're on reorganization meeting this tomorrow night. So they're two-
Yes, it is, so they'll probably make a decision tomorrow night on when they're gonna do it.
Okay.
Okay. All right, no more department heads. Okay, regular business. Dog ordinance violation, public hearing. Michael Mulligan, Lower Notch Road. Michael's not here, right?
I think he is.
Maybe on
Is he on?
Yes,
Michael?
I'll
Michael, you
call
on?
it on the phone.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank you,
I'm here.
Michael.
Can you hear me?
Yep,
Yeah.
Ken, Michael. Okay.
All
Valerie, you wanna,
Yeah,
is
so
this on?
hopefully folks had a chance to review the notes and see the letter that was sent a year ago, just about a year ago tonight, actually. The select board had a hearing on this very issue of incessant dog barking. And the select board provided a number of options for Michael to pursue to control the dogs. And they were summarized in a letter, and apparently for quite a while, things had improved, but we received word from neighbors that things have gone back to where they were, and they're looking for relief.
okay. As our dog warden, i.e. the Bristol PD, do they have a report to give tonight or no?
No, nothing new that I'm aware of because of the prior actions and because it's now a matter before the select board. So no other action had been taken.
Okay.
Are you the neighbors?
You guys, would you like to come up and speak? Sure. Okay.
So this was on for February 12th. And it's
Right,
now, we didn't convene, or we convened then, but didn't discuss. So I wanted to just find out if how things are from February 12th. That's when we were gonna talk about it, and just get an idea from you folks, what's been happening. You know, we know, you know, in terms of the letters that you've sent and the complaints that you've had, like, how has it been going recently, just so we have an update?
Yeah, so as like we said, since our meetings last year, we felt like the exclusion of like a couple instances, we felt like there was generally progress on this issue. And then it seemed like by November, around like the first week before Thanksgiving, I would say, you know, this is becoming like a daily occurrence again. They're just waking us up every day, you know, hearing dog barking constantly throughout the day, sometimes keeping us awake all night. So at that point in November, I mean, we pretty much dealt with it for like 2 months straight every day until we realized this was gonna be an issue. Until we realized the issue was gonna be reoccurring. It didn't seem like there was any improvement in sight. So at that point, I reached back out to Valerie, you know, just to update the town on what was going on, and that's kind of how we ended up back here at the second select board meeting.
Is it still ongoing though? Is it every day, all day long?
Since you,
Since February,
February you filed, or even
when we
before
were
you
gonna
filed.
do.
Yeah, so it was honestly the last couple weeks, there have been improvement, but this has been pretty consistent with how this has gone. You know, I think at this point, I know personally, we've notified Michael like 8 different times. We do like 2 letters we sent him, 3 police reports, and then 3 certified letters from the town. Seems like each time he's notified, things get temporarily better for a couple days, and then we're just back to square one at some point.
Okay.
Probably need a log, but I'm on the Zoom thing.
Hey, Patty, can you mute yourself?
At the select board meeting.
Patty, can you mute yourself?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Do you want to add any more? And for the record, did we get their name?
Yeah, they need to sign in, they didn't.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, Michael, would you like to, we'd like to hear your side of the? And
Hi.
so I guess I'll ask
how's-
from about this time last year, Michael, Ian said or Valerie said it was almost a year now. Things got really good until about middle of November, till about Thanksgiving time. So what were the improvements made and where do you feel it fell down after November?
Yeah, so this is you know, once again, this is like news to me. I did you know, I've been keeping the dogs in, and I guess I don't know if I'm just a deep sleeper because they're definitely not waking me up in the night. I've never had a complaint about these dogs the entire time I've lived in Bristol, and they've lived here the entire time, so 8 years. I'm just trying to figure out what is new, because I have a neighbor that's literally 30 yards away from me, and they have never complained. I have neighbors across the street. I have neighbors up and down here. I'm not even really sure where the complaint is coming from. I have purchased dog bark collars. I just I don't know when this barking is it occurring after I leave in the morning for work. I do have a dog door that goes in and out of my house that lets the dogs, they can come and go as they please, and they go out into a fenced-in yard. I've been locking them in at night. I'm willing to try anything to resolve this. I'm just not sure that this, I mean, is this really, I mean, the dogs, I've never seen them bark for hours on end, you know, they don't bark when I'm here. So it's hard for me to tell when I'm at work. I do have somebody that comes over occasionally now and walks the dogs when I'm at work. I'm just curious. You know, I don't seem to have any complaints from anybody else.
Okay. Michael, do you, excuse me, when you leave for work in the morning, are the dog collars, you know, for their barking collars on then, or you take them off because they're not walking on a leash out on the road?
I guess I want to say I used the collars for quite some time, and then I removed them because they seemed to stop barking, and it just was set on like a beep mode.
Did you remove?
Kind of scares them enough.
Yeah. Did you remove them around the middle of November of 23? If you could think of.
I can't really remember. It would probably be safe to say it's possible, yes. I'm sorry to be barking. I wish I could have got, like, someone could have contacted me sooner here. I would try to immediately resolve the situation had I known.
So you haven't gotten any, you haven't signed for any certified letters since November from the town notifying you you've had complaints about your dogs?
No, not this November. I got one certified letter on for the meeting that I tried to call in on Zoom. I guess that was probably February 12th.
Yes, it was.
That was the first letter I received.
Okay.
So I haven't known. So it's been, you know, 4 months, 3 months, and I just, you know, I've had no idea. I had no idea anything was wrong again.
Okay. All right. We'll get back to you in a minute. You wanted to comment on something?
Yeah, sure. First I want to say, Michael, that we have no hard feelings towards Michael whatsoever about this personally. You know, we just want a resolution to the issue.
I guess I have a question for you, Scott. When do you hear them mostly barking?
Mornings after he leaves for work.
Yeah, I feel like that is part of the problem with the disconnect here, because the main issue is when Michael leaves in the morning, and which is no later than 6:30 or 7, but it seems like it varies, and sometimes can be a lot earlier. And as soon as he leaves in the morning, that's when the barking starts, and that can go on for hours and hours and hours. I realize he's not here when that's going on, so we have always tried to give him the benefit of the doubt in that regard. Yeah, when the dogs are barking, I mean, even in the winter time with our windows closed, it's loud enough to wake us up in the mornings. And it's like we eat breakfast, you know, the dog is barking. We make coffee and the dog's barking. We go down to the farm and to work and the dog's barking. It just feels like we have no way to even get away from the sound.
And you guys know it's specifically his dog, you know,
Yeah,
he walked
yeah.
over and got
I mean,
me.
our farm almost borders his backyard. There's a thin lot in between us, but I mean, the dogs are right there. You know, people come to, it's another issue for us is like walking's in the morning. We run our farm business in the summer where families come with their children and stuff in the morning. And they usually get there in the mornings to try and beat the heat. That's always like right when the dogs are barking. So it's like a constant conversation we're having that with like customers and visitors, just trying to explain ourselves so people know it's not our dog and it's the neighbors. So
It's very loud.
it's really loud. I mean, this is the winter and the summertime with the windows open. There's just like absolutely no way to get away from it.
Michael commented that he has someone that comes and walks them. Does the barking stop when he takes them out? That person.
Can you
whoever-
tell? I don't
Can you
know.
tell? I
I've
don't know
never
if you
seen
can.
any evidence of anyone coming.
I can't really tell, but like I said, it seems like right when he leaves for work in the morning, and then, I mean, it can literally go for 3, 4, 5, 6+ hours where these dogs are just barking. It doesn't even sound like you're taking a breath in between, but it's just like,
Can you orient us to where you are?
Lower Dutch Berry Farm.
There's
so,
Which is,
One of those old
Lower
birds.
Notch Road, we owned Berry Farm in 1908, Lower Notch Road, which almost borders the yard which the dogs are kept, and then our house is just directly across the street at 1835 Lower Notch Road.
so what used to be Luna's?
Yes.
Okay, Luna's.
Yeah.
All right,
Yes.
Yeah.
Right there where that culvert is.
okay, yeah,
He knows.
yeah, I worked on the golf.
Okay.
All right, I was just trying to orient myself, because a lot of times we'll make visits ourselves during the day when we know there's an issue.
Yeah.
So that we can, not that we don't believe you, but
Yeah.
that way we can verify it as well.
Yeah.
I think
and I just wanted
did do that.
Is it possible that the batteries on your dog collars are no longer good, or are the collars off now, Mike?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can hear you.
Okay, sorry, I didn't know if I had muted it again. The battery seems to be charged. I'm just trying to think of a solution here. I guess maybe I'm just gonna leave them locked inside when I leave for work. I'm just they're just older dogs, I don't want them to be a nuisance to my neighbors either. I thought this issue was resolved. I haven't heard anything back. I thought everything was okay, so I apologize for that. I guess maybe we can work on me leaving them inside during the day. And maybe that's gonna help end this situation here. Give a little relief to the neighbor.
Michael, do you have, that you mentioned earlier that you had someone comes and lets them out, walks them. Is
Yeah,
that every
sometimes I
day?
have-
Is that every day?
Or just, no, it's not every day. It's pretty much when I can get them here, when it's convenient. It's just a friend.
Okay.
So,
One,
it's kind of like a convenience thing. I'll probably have to arrange something different for the summer, but
yeah.
I don't know. I would like to try to resolve this maybe I'm leaving them in, maybe giving my number or my email or something, so someone, like, if there is a problem, someone can let me know immediately, so I can do something here. And I was flirting with the idea. Now I'm thinking of maybe getting a Zoom, like a Ring camera or something, so I can see what's going on out there during the day when I'm gone at work.
Okay. Jessica, you had a comment.
I just had a question. Is the dog barking when they're inside, or is it when they're outside, or both?
I think mainly
Yeah,
outside.
you can't tell if it is inside.
Okay.
It just seems like once Michael leaves, then they're just outside.
They're outside and
Just
barking.
against the fence, yeah.
Okay.
And it's mainly in the mornings, starting the mornings and throughout the day. The overnight thing is occasionally, it seems
It's
like
not
it's
as
on
bad
the,
anymore.
yeah, it's not as bad. It seems like whenever Michael goes away on the weekends or if he's away for the night, that's when we've experienced the dog barking like overnight, 2 to 3, 4 a.m. in the morning.
So maybe keeping the dogs inside and having somebody come and walk them when he's gone.
Yeah, that's one of the solutions was suggested at one of the last select board meetings. I think a couple of the options were either hiring a dog walker during the day and leaving him inside so he could still get exercise, hiring a dog trainer, just to address the behavioral issues. We're open to whatever works for Michael and his dogs, it's just been like an issue for us for like 2.5 years now, just like, feel like we haven't been able to sleep even in our own home, or like run our business and like, we're just, we're open to whatever, we're just ready for a permanent solution at this point, it's been like some real burden to our quality of life for multiple years now,
Well, I think, first of all, Michael, you kind of said that it was right around when he started barking, you think you stopped putting the collars on. Thought you probably had it, and we probably all would have thought, well, I haven't barked since about 1st of March or middle of March of 23. And I think I'll stop putting the collars on. I think it shows that those work.
Yeah, I'm sorry, excuse me.
Yeah, and I think that's that with a dog walker, leave them in, and if they go outside, they gotta have their collars on. And I'll be perfectly honest with you, I don't remember what we said. If they go outside, do they have to have the collars on? We did say fenced in yards and
I
things
think
like
it
that.
was, yeah.
I'd have to watch that film.
We made suggestions and I think Michael got the collars, but yeah, I think, I agree with you though. I think if that was working, I think if the collars can be put back on and the dogs are able to be put inside and have someone is able to come and take them for a walk, I think we try that. We left it last year where we would review, we made suggestions and then we were gonna review in 2 weeks. And to see what the status was and if changes have been made and if the dog noise had ceased.
Michael, can you see the screen there? You're not on the
You may
Zoom
not be able
camera.
to.
You don't
You
have a
probably
camera, do
can't see,
you?
can't see.
You don't have a camera, do you?
Yeah.
So there, a year ago, the select board did not mention bark collars. So that's new.
No, I think I had bought those just trying to resolve the issue, I'm willing to try anything to solve this problem.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, I just, I want to fix this. I'm definitely willing to, I'm going to start leaving them inside during the day when I leave for work. And I think that's going to resolve the issue. They don't bark in the house. They're definitely not going to hear the dog barking in the house. It's really hard for me to even hear them bark when I'm in my own house out back there. But I know that's different. So maybe they're barking in their direction and just it's really loud or something, but
okay. All right, I think
I'm definitely
go ahead. Sorry.
I'm definitely willing to try anything here.
I think a proven fact was almost 8 months, at least 6 months, you had the dog collars on, bark collars, and it seemed to work. I think that was the big giveaway here, that you said you took them off around the middle of November, and that's when they testified that that's when the dogs begin to bark again. I think when they go outside, they got to, besides the list we have, is screened in, and you do have a fenced in yard, they got to have their bark, they got to have their bark collars.
Okay, I'm okay with
And
that.
it sounds like you're not having to use the shock. You can either use the vibration or the beep. So it's not like the dogs are being hurt by the device.
Right. And it's just I guess I really think I should probably do is get that the Ring camera, because they don't really bark when I'm here. So I think all this stuff is happening when I'm at work, and I kind of like it's hard for me to tell if the bark collar is working. I mean, obviously it sounds like it has been, but I'll definitely when they are out there, they'll have that collar on.
Yeah, I think a ring camera would benefit you as much as anybody, because if you heard them started to bark, you could call that friend and say, hey, my dogs are barking. Can you go tend to them?
Right.
And
At least
you
you're
can
trying to
talk to them through the ring.
You could talk to them through the ring.
Right.
But one
Yeah,
other
that's what I was
concern-
thinking. I was thinking.
Okay, yeah.
But
go ahead,
but one
Jess.
other concern is, so and I wasn't here for any of this to start with, but it looks like this has been ongoing and you all have had to deal with this for a long time. Is there a follow-up process? Like, how do we know that this is working so that they can get some relief? Okay, so is that what the procedure is? That then we would send an official letter saying what needs to happen, and then there would be a follow-up?
Valerie will send a
Yeah,
letter.
if there,
from this meeting.
if it doesn't work, typically the complainant lets us know again, and then we follow up with the person who has the animals. Every case is a little bit different depending on what the complaint is, if it's a vicious dog, or if it's a barking dog, or if it's a dog running at large. So it's not, we don't necessarily have a set procedure.
Okay, well, I would say, yeah, I think the collars, I think we'd recommend putting those back on, because it seems like, as Joel had said, those were working. And then if the dogs are able to be kept inside, and then I think we review in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
How does that sound?
Perfect.
And obviously we're relying on you to come back to us and see, hopefully, that there are improvements to this.
We will.
Sure, yeah, we can keep you up to date.
Yeah. You know, like I said, 2 weeks you don't hear anything, but 2 weeks, and then another week, it went on for a week. You know, if they say, hey, they barked tonight. But you know, if it's a week-long barking, you said something happened, we could reach out to them immediately and said, you need to check your batteries or something, because they've been barking for a week now.
Yeah.
Not 3 months.
Sounds
Yeah, got it.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Great.
Great. So Michael, Valerie, you wanna, I don't wanna speak for you, you'll be sending a letter confirming all this tonight. The collars got to be on when they're outside, the bark collars. We would suggest, I know the board didn't take an action yet. I would wait for a motion if we do, for a ring camera, so he can be notified if he knows his dogs are barking when he's at work.
And that the dogs stay in.
And the dogs stay inside. If they go outside, they got to have their bark collar on with a walker, or if someone's gonna go tend to them for the day. Let them out to go whatever their business and come back in. Do we want, board, I'm asking this question, do we want to say that he has testified that he has a dog door in and out? Do we want that, not say remove, but block so they can't come in and out and they're free willing?
Well, if he's gonna keep them in, he's gonna keep them in. That's good enough for me. I mean,
Okay,
how he does that is not.
no, you're right, Peter, but. Okay. All right, okay, Michael, we'll be sending out a letter to you. I would say, expect you'll
Okay.
probably get it by the end of the week, but I would, you know, dogs are like fences. Good fences make good neighbors. Good dogs make good neighbors too. And you haven't made good neighbors right now that put up with it. And I would, tomorrow morning, I'd have those collars on before you leave in the morning.
Yeah. And well, I'm definitely gonna lock them in tomorrow. They're gonna be starting to stay inside. But please reach out to me anytime, as soon as possible, if there's a problem, because then, you know, I can try to remedy it as soon as possible, and they won't have to wait. You know, if there's a problem, they won't have to wait 3 months.
Do you want them to have your number so they can text or call you?
I can give you my email if that would help you. I think you have it there, but I'm more than happy to give it again.
Valerie, do you have Michael's email?
We have the email and his cell phone number's on the screen.
Yeah, so that's fine.
That's
So
why I
either
asked if you would, that's why I asked if you would mind a text from your neighbor if they felt there was an issue. And if they
Not
don't
at
get
all. That's
satisfaction,
fine.
if they don't get satisfaction from you, they're gonna come to us.
You guys get that? You get that?
Right.
Yes, I
Okay.
know.
Yeah, we're happy to work
Yeah.
directly
And I-
with them for a solution.
and
I guess.
I would like to see it texts versus a call, because a text is.
A record.
Right. You could text it or email it too. That's, that's, you know, anything, whatever works, as long as if I'm aware of the problem, I can do something of it. I can do, or, you know, I could probably remedy it, so.
Okay,
Great.
all right. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Thanks,
All right, thank you.
guys.
Thank you guys for coming.
Thanks for coming.
Appreciate it. Okay,
So for
Number
this
2.
agenda item, shall that be acknowledged as a consensus of the select board rather than a motion?
Do you want a
Yeah.
motion?
you want a motion or you want
I think
just
that's, we did a
consensus?
consensus last time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I wasn't here last time. I was on vacation.
So consensus of the board is to resend the letter with adding the bar collars must be on when they're
Right.
outside. And they'll be put in during the day.
Yep.
Unless they're walked by someone who stops and walks them. Do we want to put in there also, board, a ring camera?
I think that's entirely up to him.
Yeah.
I think it would be in his best interest, so.
I got two, yeah, and Michelle, you, no, Peter, you want to say that's up to him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ian, you're saying that's up to him, or you
Yes.
wanna,
Yes.
we wanna put that in the letter?
No, I think it's up to him. I think,
Okay.
I think if we need to revisit that, we could, but let's see.
It's,
Yeah, I
it,
think it's
it
to his
really
benefit.
sounds like they're gonna work
Yeah.
together
Yeah.
to resolve this, so I don't, I'm in hopes that this
We don't
is the
see it
last
again.
we've heard of it.
Yeah, that's ideal, right?
Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. And Valerie, you'll take care of the letter and everything, right? You'll send that out, okay, you don't need a motion a second to send the letter out.
Nope, we're good.
Okay,
Consensus.
consensus. Appointment or reappointment of town officers or representatives may include deliberation and executive session to discuss appointments.
So can I just say, Val, this list is not up to date because it has my expiration date of 2023.
Right, actually, I discovered that the link in my TA report was an old link and I did update it. I did update it for the report that's posted on the website. And I posted an updated table this afternoon. Let's see, and I'll share my screen quickly, briefly. We did get some more responses. Not a lot, but some. And I'll just I'm just trying to.
Yeah, you're down till 2030 now.
No, I know it's
60.
2026.
60.
So-
Not
62.
2060, you're right behind me.
And I also heard from, let's see, Randy Sargent for equipment committee. Let me quickly put that in.
Yeah.
Equipment committee, Randy Sargent said yes. I'm gonna add that.
Is Clark on there? Is it yes, he?
Yep.
It's on the link in.
Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen quickly. So, as we know for tonight, Doug Corkins would like to be appointed as lister because the election aspect didn't quite go through. For Planning Commission, Shannon Hill is interested in being reappointed, and so is Fred Baser. We have not heard from Bill Sarah yet. For, let's see, Bike Ped Committee, Marianne Eaton no longer lives in town, so she does not want to be reappointed. I haven't heard back from anybody else. I believe Board of Civil Authority is November, so I need to fix that. There's nobody.
That's a vote, isn't it? That's
Board of
Why
Civil
has she
Authority,
got Board of Civil
yeah, you
Authority?
shouldn't have that,
voted.
those are voted on.
Those are
Right,
voted.
right.
That's
No one up
probably
for
me.
conservation.
I created this.
It's a Board of Civil Authority, aren't those all justice
No,
of the
there's the
peace?
JPs and the
Okay,
select
all
board.
right, okay,
And
The
Just like
JPs are voted and it's not for this year, it'll be next year.
next year,
November.
that's what I was gonna say, we didn't.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I put this list together last year when I was doing the town report, and I was just putting all of them
Everybody,
on, but
yeah.
there are ones that aren't supposed to be on here. We
Yeah,
didn't.
no, the JPs, which is the BCA, are elected positions.
Okay,
That's not a.
wait, so what's the difference between JP and BCA.
If you're a
Or it's the-
JP.
If you're a justice of the peace, you're on
On the
the BCA.
BCA.
Oh, it's
And
the,
if you're a
okay, it's the
select
board
board.
and the justice of the peace on the board. Got it.
Right.
You
Okay.
got it.
You can be on the board of civil authority, but not a JP, because just the peace can marry people. Right?
Now you're confusing me.
JPs can
You
marry.
guys can't marry people.
We
you know.
can't, because
But
we're
we're-
on the board of civil
We're on the
authority. No, we're
Well,
on-
you can, but you gotta live with them.
So
Okay.
no one
Well,
is up apparently for Conservation Commission this year. And the one person that's up for Design Review Commission, Carol Wells, she's expressed interest in being reappointed.
Okay,
We have some old committees here. Haven't heard back from anybody on the Energy Committee yet. Sally or John McCormick.
Right, and
For
so they
equipment
decided
committee.
did they just, Val, did they decide they're staggered, it looks like?
Yes, and that's
Okay.
the Energy Committee, that's the stagger.
Great.
And I have not heard back yet from Sally or John about whether they want to be appointed. And when they do get reappointed, it would be for a 3-year term, not just a 1-year term.
And then we'll be set.
yes.
Yeah.
Is there a reason that the equipment committee isn't staggered?
They're all just 1 year.
But is there a reason why it's 1 year? Why can't we
Nope,
make people
not
3?
that I
or-
know.
There's no reason. I
Because they
don't,
wanna jump ship in 1 year, they don't want to die for 3 years.
Right.
I mean, 2 of us are by statute anyway, Eric and myself are
Right.
because of
And
our
Valerie.
position.
3 actually.
Mhm.
And then you have the community members, Randy, Alan and
Ken.
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 And they
I mean,
each,
they serve every
said
year,
yes.
so it
Yeah.
feels like we
What
could.
about Pete? What's Pete? Pizza.
Pete,
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 community member?
yeah. No, Pete is a community member now. He stayed on when he,
Yeah.
so we got 4 community members and 3
Ex officio,
ex
so to speak.
officios.
so it's an odd number, which is
Just
good.
7. Yeah.
Yeah, which is fine. You want that, so you always have a vote.
And as I
so-
mentioned in my notes, I haven't quite sorted out the revolving loan fund committee because it seems a little bit out of whack right now. So I
Oh,
haven't.
just pick a date and give it to us.
Okay. Oh.
They can choose.
And let's see,
Solid waste management, that looks like it's up.
yeah,
For
that would
you
be
and
me and Joel, so it's up
Yeah.
to, so,
Yes, Joel?
Yeah, I guess so.
Come on, you get free pizza,
Right.
don't you?
Is that it? That's a yearly?
Yeah. it's
Okay.
really-
All right.
Do you have the Maple broadband ones on there? Cause I got an email today that I haven't forwarded to Valerie yet. I
Yes.
don't know who's on it right now.
We only have Dan Sonneborn.
Okay.
Did you get an
It's a
email?
big
from Dan
committee.
I got
Sonneborn?
an email, no, I got an email from the Maple
Oh,
broadband.
asking about.
Asking, they want the information sometime by April something.
Okay.
So I
yeah,
was gonna
apparently
ask-
the appointments are
That
from
was the-
May.
Yeah.
Or you're
Sure.
pretty thin. You think you're,
No,
you think you're,
I helped them do grant writing when they were getting started, so I know what their mission is and all of that.
All right, so hopefully we can reach out to Dan for Maple Broadband, and then, yeah, it'd be nice to have an alternate.
Mhm,
you can have 2, it says there.
mhm. So, John Swepston said yes for tree warden.
Okay.
Dave Sharp said yes for fence viewer. Haven't heard from Joel yet.
Oh, yeah, I'll do it.
How much fence viewing in
Yeah,
a
what
year do
is
you
a
do?
fence viewer?
I think they've only done it once since I've been on the board.
Twice we've done 2.
Twice,
And that's
Yeah.
been 75 years.
No,
so-
it
No,
hasn't been
since I've been on, yeah, Peter's been on for
But
50 years.
what is fence viewing?
It's if you have a discrepancy with your neighbor, rather than
Okay.
hiring a surveyor, you can meet with the fence viewer and they will pick the line, but
So it's
you know,
literally
to-
just deciding where you're,
basically today, it's a mute point.
Okay,
It's
it's an
decided,
old holdover from.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
interesting.
it's like weights and measures. So
Right.
we used to have weights and measures and
Yeah, coal, aware of coal, and,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
So Peter Coffey did respond that he would be interested in being reappointed.
Okay.
And the fence viewers, yeah. So I think that about sums it up.
A little bit, slide back up to the emergency. Are you missing one there?
For which?
Emergency manager.
We don't have a
coordinators.
coordinator
Yes.
that I'm aware of.
Is that a problem?
I'm not sure.
Well, if we don't have a coordinator, guess who gets stuck with the next one in line?
The
Which is
deputy.
probably gonna be Pete.
So
I'm not sure what the
Who?
responsibilities are.
Ooh, what's that, Sarah?
Is the clerk on that list?
For emergency coordinator?
No, for reappointment,
Is your time up this year?
3 years.
Is it for 3 years?
No, you just
Yeah.
stuck there.
No, clerk isn't on here, right? Because it's a,
Clerk and
appointed.
treasurer.
It's
No,
an
we're
appointed
Appointed
now.
position, right?
Paid treasurer.
oh, you're right.
Yeah, that's a
Treasurer
good
should
point,
be on there.
Sharon, because the zoning administrator's on here and that's the same thing right
Oh.
there.
Yep.
So yeah, we should add that.
You should
And
add
treasurer
that.
too,
Treasurer too,
correct,
Alright.
yeah.
yeah. So I think
I can add those.
just put 12
And we're
years.
just gonna reappoint Sharon for 10.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking, I was thinking 20.
Well, I know
20
she wants to
years.
retire at some point.
Well, 20 years, then she'll have a goal.
A clean 20 years.
She'll have a goal.
Okay.
So when we have these vacant positions, do we try to get people to volunteer for them? Like, do we put out a call or?
We put stuff out on Front Porch Forum.
Yeah.
Front porch forum, we usually advertise at town meeting and voting day, we usually have a flyer of vacancies. But I don't think we didn't do that this year.
We did, we had
It's in the
the
it's in
application out in
the
the front
town report.
hallway.
Yeah.
There's
Okay.
a page on the town report that says, would you like to volunteer for any one of these
Mhm.
positions?
And there's usually one right out on the front.
Right.
Desk
We
in
could
the
be
town
more
office.
active and more consistent. So I think we could probably work on that where we're posting every month or
It's
whatever.
hard. I mean, I don't know if you've watched when we get a live body, we usually take them because we don't get a lot of volunteers.
Yeah.
I mean, I shouldn't say it like that. We get a lot of volunteers, but for the specific positions we're
Right.
looking to fill, we don't always get a lot of volunteers.
We also have a lot of committees and commissions
Yeah.
too.
Right.
Like it's growing over the years, so.
And I have not yet advertised for inquiring about community's interest in establishing an equity committee. That has not gone out yet.
Okay.
Can I ask one other question?
Sure.
For these committees that we have, do we need so many? So are they mandated by law or did the select board decide on them?
We decided on the number on each committee.
You mean the number of volunteers for each committee or number of
As
members?
we-
You're talking
number
about
of
the number of
committees.
committees.
Right, numbers. of
They've kind of
committees.
expanded.
Yeah.
They've
So would that
expanded,
be
but
something to revisit, maybe?
some of them we've done because of the interest we had when we did it, we designated, if we had a ton of interest, we'd go with more. If we didn't have a whole lot of interest, we'd go with less.
Mhm.
And it also depends on what their job is.
We should talk about the number of committees that we have, not just the members.
Oh,
in there.
okay.
Right.
There are two on this list that aren't active anymore, and that's the Emerald Ash Borer Committee and the ARPA Committee. But they're still on here just as records. Historical records.
Sharon, when are you up? This
This
year
year?
or next? Okay.
Now, middle of April. I think it was.
3
Yeah.
years sure went by fast. Was it 3 or 1?
No, it's 3.
3,
The
wow,
initial one was 1.
So
right.
it's been 4 years since we started appointing those positions?
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Wow.
So you said April?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're putting that in.
Yeah, so town clerk and treasurer
Treasurer.
and that's it, it's those two?
No, actually, chief and assistant chief, right?
Deputy chief.
Yeah, but they do that.
You guys-
They do that and we just approve it.
No, we appointed, it's an appointed.
It's appointed.
Yeah, but I thought,
It's a three-year term. Correct.
well, for some reason, I always thought Brett emailed us and said,
He
They
emails
need to
us,
reappoint
emails us
them.
to the
he
officers.
emails us the rest of the
Okay.
officers and then,
We appoint the
we appoint
the chief and the deputy
and the
chief.
Deputy chief.
All right, you can add those in.
God, look at all this you're adding to
This list is
that.
getting longer.
Fucker.
Well, you'll get rid of a whole bunch of lines when we finally take those two committees off.
I don't know, I don't see why we can't take them on now.
And it looks like you got Board of Civil Authority on there twice.
Really?
Or is it Justice of the Peace? Because the Board of Civil Authority is the Justice.
Yeah, you don't need to have.
Yeah, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
So
I might
delete
do
that.
Okay, I'll fix it.
Yeah.
All right, so.
No, don't have justice of the peace. Oh, yes, we do. There.
Okay, yeah, I'll edit that.
Okay. Good to
All
know.
right, treasurer, town clerk, and then,
Chief and assistant chief.
okay.
Deputy chief.
Deputy.
And
The
did you
assistant chief
discern they
is
were 3-year
elected.
terms?
I believe that.
Yes.
3-year terms. And do you know when yours expired?
About to tell you.
Okay. Pay attention, Ian.
All right,
Okay. 2019.
You're going. Take a second.
Yeah.
Deputy
So
chief?
does the select
Yes.
board appoint the chief and the deputy chief, fire chief?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
We started that, I don't know how many years ago.
Under Therese.
Oh,
Under Teresa.
Yeah, it was under
was,
Teresa's.
oh,
Little-
that escaped my notice, I think, apparently.
Yeah, we appointed him. Wow, I don't know. You gotta be close to do.
Is it yearly?
Yeah.
3 years. No, 3-year
3 years.
terms.
3-year terms, interesting. In March or some other time like June or July?
Brett's gonna
Brett's-
tell us
he's
in a
researching.
minute.
Okay.
Okay, are
I
we,
know it's been at least
Yeah. we can-
2 years.
are we all set?
Yeah,
guys?
we- we-
So,
Longer than 3?
Yeah, we reappointed him once.
Yeah.
Since we started it.
No, since you appointed me, reappointed me. I think it was 2018. Yeah, it was the last time I was appointed.
I guess we ought to do
Well,
that
you've
this
been-
year, huh?
You've
So,
been
wait,
serving without
is he-
being
is he
appointed.
not the chief then? What's going on here? He's doing a really good job, and he's not the chief, I would say. I would make a motion to accept those who
Who
have,
accepted
To
so far?
appoint.
yeah,
Okay,
to appoint.
is there a second to that?
Does that include Sharon, the chief and the deputy chief, or do we have to do them separately?
So I'm due for appointment now.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
it's
I'd-
deputy-
I'd-
January 1.
I'd appoint you now.
January 1.
Yeah, I would say including Sharon.
Do it all
Hold
at
on.
once.
So,
What's
yeah,
that, Valerie?
I would do it all at
All at
once.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'd say the who we've had feedback from, responses from, who are a yes.
Okay.
And then also the town clerk and the fire chief.
And
And the
deputy.
deputy chief,
Well, do we,
deputy fire chief.
can we speak for him? Can you speak for
I can
him?
speak for Eric.
Okay,
He doesn't have a choice.
yes,
Eric and I talk regularly.
okay, then yes, and so then including the deputy.
Yeah, it'll be like this. Oh, by the way, Eric.
And there are, I mean, I don't know about the rest of the positions, like I'm assuming the clerk job description, we have job descriptions.
Yes,
Okay.
okay,
So I do have a question. The treasurer, do we, I mean, I know.
Hold on,
we-
Michelle.
I know
Let
we
me get a
appointed-
second here.
You did.
Well, no, my question
I
was,
seconded it.
Okay.
okay, so we appointed him as of the 11th.
correct.
Yes.
Okay, I was trying to figure out when we did Anthony, and it was whether
Oh, I see.
that was.
Okay, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right, so
But he's
motion
on
set.
probation.
Motion to accept.
Okay.
To accept all the ones who've called in so far, plus the chief, fire chief, the deputy chief, the town clerk, and the town treasurer,
And,
no,
Yeah.
town treasurer, we already did.
and the
When we,
list.
when we,
and Doug Cork.
Yeah.
Well, I got
was
that
on
down
there.
as a 2A.
Yeah,
Okay, and Doug Corkins as a
Yeah.
lister. You added that too, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, any more, and there was a second by Peaker, any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
you can't run now, Sharon.
So on Doug's appointment, is that, they refer to it as a 1-year appointment, but is it really until the next election and he would need
Yes,
to,
it is.
Sharon says
Next
yes,
election.
next
Yeah.
election.
okay,
That's all we can for an
Right.
elected position. We can only appoint until the next election.
right, okay.
And if we don't find somebody for Maple Broadband, Jessica whispered to me that she'd be interested in.
Yeah.
Cause she helped write the grant, right, correct? for
Yeah.
that.
When I first started.
Will you continue to serve on the bicycle pedestrian committee?
Should I? As a member, do they have appointed members?
They do, and you were appointed, but I'm just curious. I mean, I'm on the design review commission.
You could be,
and have been
you
for
would
many
be
years.
you would end up being basically the liaison between that committee and us, as he does with the energy committee and the.
Yeah,
And personally, that probably wouldn't be a bad thing. You could bring back information to us and say.
Yeah. I'm happy to do that.
Okay, so you'll continue with your position.
Yeah,
I don't want to lose you on that committee. That's what I was asking.
yeah.
Okay, that's great.
Yep, she's
So
not
why
up
don't-
until the next year.
She's not up till 25.
So you don't even need to be reappointed there.
There you go.
Can't even get out of it.
So we can put you as an alternate on Maple Broadband now. If you're willing to be there, and then if the person who was there, that way
Tom.
we're covered either way.
Yeah.
If that works for you, but don't let us needle you into
Yeah,
anything
there's
you
two
don't want to
vacancies,
do.
there's two vacancies for Maple Broadband. She can
And
fill
they're,
one.
and they're alternates too.
And they're
so
alternate
not-
vacancies.
But I actually know some people who also helped with the grant writing, so why don't I reach out to them and see if
Okay.
they would be willing
Okay.
to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, she's thinking,
I
she's
know,
thinking
you-
now.
Delegating, right?
That's good.
And
Okay.
also diverse representation.
Well, also Ben Scalazdra emailed just a moment ago that he might be interested and asked if there's an application process.
I think it's through Maple Broadband, because usually we get the email from them asking to reappoint or.
Yeah, I
So
got
we-
it today. I
Okay.
just hadn't forwarded it.
Okay, great. Yeah, Sharon has the details for that one.
You got one probably from the Solid Waste District too.
Haven't seen one from them yet.
Terry sent me a notice today.
Nope.
Did you get reappointed? I said, I don't know. Yeah, tonight.
So do we need to do anything more with Maple Broadband or do
We're
we want
holding-
to
we're
accept
holding off.
Ben's
We'll
and?
hold off.
Okay,
Jessica may bring us a name or two and
Yeah, I would get whatever information is needed from Sharon or Ben asked Sharon if she can forward you the email or whatever.
Yeah, I can forward it, but I figured it wouldn't be on the agenda tonight,
Right.
so I was gonna wait for it after.
That's
Yeah.
great. Thanks.
I mean, I guess I would ask under the emergency management coordinator. Would we get tripped up from the state if we don't have one? We have a deputy, or we don't? No,
We haven't had one.
we haven't had one.
haven't had one for as long as I've been here. I don't know if the town's ever had one.
Yeah.
It is a statutory position, but
Brett says it was Eric, but I wouldn't request Eric or Brett to be in that position. Nothing to
That was when he worked for the.
Right. That's
but
when he was.
because of their jobs with the state. We have
absolutely,
emergency here, they're gonna be up there, not here.
right.
Quick question for the fire chief and deputy. How long a term is it? 3 years?
It's a 3-year.
Okay,
Appointment.
okay, thank you.
Okay,
And then Sharon is a 3-year town clerk?
yes.
I thought we said that.
33.
10.
No, Jill said 20. Okay, so we'll do it for, great, thank you. And then, all right, sorry. Okay. I'm good.
We get,
You good?
I'm gonna call for a
I'm
vote
gonna-
here
I'm gonna
pretty
stop
soon.
Talking. I'm
Let's
just
call for a
doing-
vote
You do
here
have
pretty
the
soon.
treasurer there.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, we're gonna have to accelerate.
Yeah.
10 more items.
Alrighty,
Okay, can we move on?
yeah, now we're gonna call for a vote to all those
I thought
in
we.
favor of all those. Well, we stopped and we didn't have, I wanna get it on
Yes,
paper
that's
record.
good.
Okay, all those in favor of reappointing all the ones that responded with the rest of our officers for the fire department and the 2 fire department and the clerk and treasurer. And Doug Corkins as a lister, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, abstained, okay.
Thank you.
Glad you were here. That was hard.
Now you're official.
Okay, number 3, town meeting redo.
Yeah, this is just an opportunity on the agenda to reflect back on town meeting. And as we know, or as many are aware, there's been quite a thread on Bristol's Front Porch Forum about town
I'd like
meeting
to see that.
participation and suggestions about how perhaps to make some changes that might inspire or enable more members of the community to participate.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people had suggested Saturday, but then a lot of people said they want
I
to keep
saw
their
that in the
Saturdays
yeah.
and that they would rather have it be earlier in the day,
Yeah.
like maybe 5:30,
Yeah.
5:30 start.
Well, I saw some that said 5. The problem with that is like, I work till 5 and I can't get
Right.
here from Middlebury, but we also have the police district meeting that's half an hour before. So whatever time we
Yeah.
start town meeting, we're a half an hour before
Right.
that.
But so if you started police at 5:30, you could then start town meeting at 6.
I would like to see that possibly come to,
You better
Next
bring
year.
some food. Yeah,
Yes.
it's like, we will be ugly.
I do want to take this time,
Just having a meal there.
I do want to take this time to apologize to David Sharp, if we're talking about town meeting redo. I was mistaken when I said the interest comes out of when we elected a town treasurer, i.e. George Smith, Reenie Partridge, those types of people, a tax collector, excuse me, when we elected a tax collector that wasn't in-house, they used that 4% to pay to, they had to put an ad and all that, and they had to pay for those things. I did some research on it.
We still have to pay.
Yeah.
Because if you do a tax sale,
David
you're
sent me an
only,
email that,
well, you're only allowed a certain amount of attorney's fees to be collected. Anything above and beyond that is on the town.
yeah, so I just want to say that. I apologize to you, David. So, okay, anything else on this town meeting redo? I thought it shared, I thought it went really well. And I thought voting the day after was, only suggestion I would have is have a big red ballot for police or Hannaford Career or somebody, and then those two colors were Hannaford Career and police.
We only got
Purple
one,
and blue.
Well,
we only got one blue in the Hannaford ones.
Yeah, I think the
Okay.
harder ones
Yeah,
was
it's
the,
very good.
was it the
Was the
Democratic?
Republican
and the Hanover?
USD.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
hard.
those two were very close.
Those were
yeah.
close, so that was my, if you had one that was white paper and one was a big red one, those are, yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, I think the town meeting on the Monday went very well. I'd like to thank Neat TV and Sean for setting up all the microphones and filming it and running the Zoom, and Cecil as well
Yeah.
for providing food. The Sonic Lodge, that was great. Thank you very much. But yeah, I thought it was great. Obviously, turnout was fairly decent, but we'd like to work on improving that. There was a hearty discussion that evening about ways to improve that, and I think that we can sort of work on that throughout the year and try to get feedback from residents. And obviously in Front Porch Forum, we're seeing that already, which is nice.
Could we appoint a group of residents to be like on an ad hoc committee and come up with ideas for us about town meeting?
This
Like,
is how you get another committee.
just an ad hoc committee, they only meet for like 3 meetings and then so I've asked a couple of people who were posting on Front Porch Forum if they'd be interested in talking to other people and coming up with some ideas for us to consider. And they said that they would be happy to do that. So we could ask them to think about ideas and present us with some to select from.
I mean, it may come out to be like doing a Google poll.
Mhm.
You know, say,
Right.
here are the dates or here are the
Yeah.
options
Yeah.
and.
right,
So they've already started collecting this information and
Yeah,
putting
that's
out
good.
questions.
yeah. And I think, I like to see the Front Porch Forum, and I think it's doing it already without even trying to do it.
Mhm.
Right.
It's getting people.
No.
So, Brett,
Just
go
a
ahead.
question, is voting via Zoom is not allowable, is that correct?
Correct.
The state says it's not allowable.
Yeah, it's
It's-
not allowed.
It's had been, some towns have done it during COVID, but I think the state,
Yeah, but you didn't vote.
you couldn't vote, I thought.
Everything
on
was
the ballot.
Australian ballot during
Australian
COVID.
ballot,
That's
that's
right.
how they got around it.
The issue with voting via Zoom is you can't guarantee who's on the other end.
Yeah,
Who's
and they have
voting.
no
There's no way
way.
to guarantee.
We have to-
See, there's an add-on that you can do. We're using it at Middlebury College for us to vote. So you enroll in a separate system and it links in with your Zoom ID so that when you call in with your Zoom ID, then when you're ready to vote, it sends you over to this other platform. So we could check it
Does it have
out.
to confirm who you are?
I
And
guess so, yeah.
It does, when you register, so you sign in with like a password and everything. But I don't know, would you be thinking that we would adopt that for town
Well,
meeting?
obviously, there's lots of conversation.
Right.
I mean, the
Right,
bottom line at the end of the day, everybody knows a year in advance when town meeting is. It's gonna be next year at this time on
Right.
Tuesday night. It's
Monday.
how
Monday.
important is
Monday
it to you to attend, excuse me, Monday night, how is it important to you to attend? Just speaking for myself, Zoom, it allows me to participate in these meetings. I'm here this evening, I'm on the. But, you know, when you have young families at home, I saw some of those comments on Front
Yeah.
Porch Forum.
Yeah.
Saturdays aren't ideal for I saw young families because their kids are involved in something.
Yeah.
There's never going to be a
Right.
perfect time.
Mhm.
And, you know, you can't focus on the traditional workday either anymore, because people work around the clock doing different types of jobs. So it's never going to be accommodating for everyone. And I think you all do a wonderful job. You advertise it, you push it every way you can. You know, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing is that we have plenty of meetings up to that point, talking about the budget, talking about the issues that are on. So they don't just have to come to town meeting, they can come anytime before then.
And the bottom line is, like you say all the time, it's up to you to set your priorities to where you wanna be. I mean, if you know town meeting's coming and it's a priority to you, you'll be there. And I do think the feedback on the putting the civic service things to the Australian ballot, I thought, you know, we had talked somewhat about that prior at a previous meeting, and I remember John Moyer getting up and saying that, you know, that the tradition of town meeting was pretty sacred, and that if you took anything away from that, you would end up not having town meeting. And it says, and it's a venue for people to get up and voice their opinion and to change those. You know, one article was changed and given more money, and you know, if there was a strong objection, there could be an article changed to give less money. So
But there are some people who don't feel comfortable
speaking
out in public, and especially against something like that. And that's why we kind of try to get that Australian ballot piece.
I've
for
had
the
people ask me
situation.
this past weekend, since town meeting, how things go, and I said, well, the only thing they voted down was to put the stuff on social. They go, could we have that question asked to us at Australian ballot next year? So 930 people voted Tuesday, correct? 930 some odd people voted?
922.
22. You know, those to decide next year they're gonna be on. 65, 70 people decided, no, we're not going to put them on.
no, they asked, well, yeah,
They did.
we did.
They said, could we put that question on a paper ballot next year on Tuesday, 7 to 7? I
But
go, that answer. I don't
those
know.
60 people also voted in $3 million worth of budget,
Correct.
you know?
Jimmy, you got a question?
On this whole subject, people don't show up for meetings. Who's always at all your meetings? At all the commission meetings, okay? I commend you for bringing up the Australian ballot. That is the only fair, because I'm getting tired of having people vote, a small amount of people vote for all this money that I have no say in. I happen to be at the meeting and I'll vote yea and nay, but a small amount of people are voting all this money in, and the rest of the people don't come out to vote at town meeting. So having it on Australian ballot, the way what you just said, have it next year put on a question, shall we put things up for town, for the Australian ballot in the future? Well, you had it the other night, it was either yes or no that night, and that's why it didn't pass. Because I don't know what's the matter with people, why they don't show up. They have a lot to say otherwise, but they don't care about what goes on in between. There's so much on Front Porch Forum that I read, and I scream at the screen. Just show up the damn meetings, you know what they were talking about. So, something to think about. Australian ballot's the way to go. You can still have your town meeting. Maybe if you had town meeting a couple weeks before thing was printed, then you could get things changed. And do it that way.
I had a question about that too. Is there, are we required to, you know, to publish the information about the town report when we do, or could we do it earlier?
It has to be published 30 days.
But could it be published more than 30 days in advance?
Well, there is you can't publish before a certain date, but you have to publish. by-
And we are
There
never
are
ready.
deadlines on each
Yeah.
side.
Okay. Just because one reason, a lot of people that I talked to, when I said, okay, because they're asking me all these questions about what happened, and I'm saying, if you're so interested, why didn't you come? And they said they didn't have a chance to read the report ahead of time, so they felt like, what was the point of going?
Well, the warning is actually posted before the town report comes out.
Mhm.
We have it on the website.
At least 30 days.
And yeah, and we have, so it was actually out on the website. It was posted in here. It was posted at Bristol Beverage. It was posted at the library before the town report was even finished and put out. So there are other opportunities. It's just whether
Right.
you
see it,
look
they
at
see
it.
Or if they can figure out what the information in it
Right.
is, because budgets are hard to read.
Because we have it outside too.
Right.
so they can see what's actually coming up, and then we put
Maybe.
out.
So the
Maybe
warning,
one-
so the warning doesn't include the budget. It's just the articles
The
that we
total
vote on.
numbers.
It took, right.
Total
numbers.
So then,
Right.
then you'd have to wait
Flip
for
back to
the town report in order to be able to figure those numbers out.
So if we didn't want to move the dates because we have to fall within a certain period, maybe what we could do is make a couple like infographics about what's happening, where the increases are, what's different. Maybe something that's easy to read for people, because that's the feedback that I was getting as far as why people didn't want to come, is that they felt like, well, I don't know what's going on.
Right.
So
We
just
didn't-
like, oh.
We didn't have that final information till the 29th.
Right, but it's, you know, we can definitely improve on those days.
But that's still a month before
Yeah.
the meeting. I mean, they have
Yeah.
a month.
Yeah, but I think you're right. It's an educational process to sort of
Sure
learn
is.
about this, and it takes a
Yeah.
long time. And if you're new to town and you're not experienced, it
Mhm.
does. It's a very dense thing.
Right.
And that's just our budget and our town report, let alone,
The school.
yes, exactly, which is
It's
far
really hard to
greater.
understand.
Which you don't even get unless
You
you
know,
get online.
But also we,
But you get that,
You get that
the
little
flyer, which is the most
postcard.
indecipherable
That's
thing.
not a good infographic, is what we're talking about.
but, you know, but if you, I think boards, previous boards, this board, you know, if you put a good budget together and voters look at it, they'll say, I'm happy with the service we're getting. You know, I can remember my dear friend Terry Everett used to say, when I was on the board at Bristol Elementary in the 90s, he'd say, oh, they're voting next year, they're gonna go to Australian ballot. Joel, we all can remember, some of us can remember when they would, the school budget would be in, and then the auditorium upstairs would just empty right out with teachers and staff and everything. They'd vote their budget, as Bill Bryant used to say, the hoot and holler meeting. They vote their $2 or $3 million school budget in Bristol Elementary, then they'd all leave.
Right.
And Terry was all worried about it. And I said, Terry, you put a good budget together and they'll support it. If you don't put a good budget together, they're gonna vote it down and you will have to come back.
to square one.
And I think that's what happened with, not that Mount Abe didn't put a good budget. Everybody was worried about the what the state's been saying, 19 or 20% or more education tax increase. And I think they said enough's enough. So are we beat this up enough, or you
I
wanna?
just have one final question. Do we need to have an ad hoc committee, or can we just ask people?
I'd like to
what
wait
they-
on that personally. That's
Well,
mine.
do we
Maybe until
even-
September.
Do we even need it though, or can we just ask people what they think and bring that information back here?
I think
Like, do we have to make it formal?
We're the one, ultimately, we're the ones that are gonna decide, so if you feel that you can bring the information back
Yeah.
and relay it to us, then there's no need to have another committee.
All right.
If you feel that you would rather not be the one put on the spot, because it sounds like a lot of people are talking to you, if you'd prefer to not be the one on the spot, then we could do a committee and somebody from that committee would have to report out to us.
And the ad hoc can be something that's not something that we would have control over, similar to how the bicycle pedestrian started. It was community gathering. So,
Yeah,
you know, I think if the community is interested in doing that and there are a couple interested people, they can do it. And I think we gladly listen to feedback from them.
Maybe that's the thing to do, tell them if they're interested, do it, and then come and
and then
report to
come.
us.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we just need to work with Valerie to get on the agenda, so.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
would
correct.
be-
Yeah.
Okay, why don't
Because
we do that then?
I think it's useful to have that information
Yeah.
and see,
And I would-
be able to collect that.
And I would
Right.
tell those people, just encourage everybody, and I'll say it right tonight, everybody looking out there, is if you've got an opinion about town meeting next year, please put it on front porch forum. We all read it.
We do?
Well, I do.
Most of us.
Most of us.
I was Jill trying to help that fellow out, was looking for a blue denim jacket for a week. He only needed it for a week, and I didn't have a blue one.
Yeah, I thought,
Okay.
yeah, I thought,
Let's move on.
I thought the meeting was great. I don't know if any other feedback in terms of the meeting itself. I thought there was excellent discussion all around. I agree with your point in terms of putting it on the question on to move to Australian ballot. You have more people able to answer that question. But my worry, and it was voiced at the meeting on Monday night, was that you sort of lose the discussion about it and the whys. Like I was very much for Australian ballot, thinking this is the most democratic way to do it. You reach more people. But after the discussion on Monday, I sort of changed my opinion on that because I felt that they made really good cases. Everyone who spoke passionately about the reasons why perhaps we should be voting no on this. But it's a complicated thing. You open it up, but also too, you then, do you run the risk of having more people who are uninformed voting on something? But then that's up to us to make sure that they, as best we can, make sure they are informed.
The only problem with that is that, I mean, how much, we had a conversation on one civil
Right.
to up it. I mean, there was no discussion, no comments from
Right.
anybody. I mean, used to you have somebody come who
That's true,
represented
yes.
each person requested money and get up and say something, and now we don't have that.
I mean, at least, well, Cecil was talking about, if you took off the discussion, the articles about, the civic organizations, it was like 9 articles, so we had 24 articles, so it's a good portion of the meeting, but at least there is, even if it's not in-depth discussion about each one, it's still going through, it's still educating people about what's happening with the organization.
The
so-
ability is there to have that
Yeah,
discussion.
I mean,
right,
the discussions could still be
And
there.
you know,
It's just the
for 2
voting
years,
part,
when
just
we-
like a lot of other things.
And
For
none of
2
the
years,
numbers can change.
right.
but for 2 years, we voted Australian ballot because we couldn't come in the hall and those things passed.
That's true.
Like,
And,
it
and,
goes back
and we
to
got
that.
data
We put a
about
good data out.
how many people were voting on each organization, so.
But
which
I
is-
was gonna say, that's what I was gonna say, you also got the
Yeah,
yays and the nays. I mean, even
Right.
though they passed, you still had some people who voted no.
right.
And at least then they felt their voice was heard.
Yeah.
At least they got a
Right.
chance to say what they wanted to
And then
say.
also to an organization can look at that and potentially say, oh, it was pretty split. We just passed by a few, or maybe
Right.
10 or 100, like, we should work
We need a
better to
little more
educate
leadership.
people
Educate and
in, I
inform.
mean, even if it's an organization in town, to be able to work more towards the people who are here who are voting, so they know what that organization does.
I did ask Jennifer after the meeting. I felt the article, I still think she handled that wrong.
Article 4.
Article 4.
Oh, right, the
Because
bringing,
we never moved to move the article to the floor. All,
Yeah.
motion in a second, and then discussion. Yeah, my discussion is I want to lower it to 1%.
right.
I thought.
Without
and
the
she was gonna
motion-
look at,
She was very adamant about it, but
she's
yeah. it
gonna
wasn't
call the
interesting.
Secretary of State
Without-
and find out how she.
Without the motion being read, the motion became what was stated. And my experience is when an article is voted down, that's the end of it. So in my mind, and I could be all wet,
You and I
but
kind of had that
but
discussion.
my mind, it goes back to state statute at that point, which is 8%
8%.
and 1.5.
Oh, interesting.
Because we voted it
Down,
down,
yeah.
The one, because it never read the 4%.
right?
And
So
motion
and
the-
second.
So it should have been read and then amended.
Yeah,
It should have been moved, seconded,
And
and
then
then
Discussion.
discussion and an amendment, and
yeah.
then the vote.
Yeah, it seemed, I was questioning, like, just, because then could you bring anything? Could I make the motion that it should be 100% or something? Before the actual article, we've even begun discussing it, that seems, yeah.
Yeah.
It
then
did
if
seem-
gets
it did
voted
seem
down-
odd to me that the article wasn't read before.
Yeah, I mean, there was
he
discussion
basic-
about it, I thought she handled it very
Yeah.
well, and she was very adamant about that, and had very good
basically
reasons, so.
Cut her off.
Yeah.
When she started.
Okay.
So
I'm
it's
good.
6 more items.
Yeah, and it's not 10 minutes to 8, you guys.
We're not
It's-
even close to 10 o'clock yet.
Oh,
It's
10 minutes to
nine.
8,
You're having
10 minutes to 9. you guys.
See, I think
Mark,
we
mark
need
that
to,
down, Pete, the new guy messing up.
I know, I
Yeah.
think we need to start having snacks if we have to stay here this late.
This isn't,
This
we
is,
haven't,
this is
I know.
nothing.
we haven't even been here an hour yet.
Yeah, we have.
That clock is wrong.
Oh.
10 minutes to 9,
You
figure.
want me to move it?
It hasn't been forwarded.
Okay.
All right.
Geez, I was feeling good.
All right, we're beat up for town meeting.
Okay, good. There is a reason why Jessica's feeling that, okay.
Yeah, okay, select board calendar and goals for the coming year.
Okay, Val.
To raise pigs and sell feathers.
Okay, have fun with that. So hopefully folks had a chance to glance at the draft calendar and goals that was posted online. At the very least, the dates give you a clue about what the upcoming schedule looks like. And I also included bullets for items that are likely to be on the upcoming agendas. Michelle pointed out that we need to add the public hearings for the bylaw modernization, the zoning amendments that we continued. So that is not on here. And so we can talk about where you'd like to slot it, given what you can see of how things are stacking up. It looks like it's gonna be a pretty busy April and May, but things do kind of slow down apparently, in July and
They never
August.
slow down.
I know, it never really slows down, but, and things that are on the April and May punch list there might get moved because we just can't get to them, and that happens. But at least it gives us a heads up of what we might be looking at. So,
Does the bylaw modernization need to be voted on?
Yes, so that's what I was just gonna say, it needs to be tied to meet our deadlines prior to scheduled elections, so we don't have to have a special election.
Thought we were gonna try to do that in August.
Yeah, we're not gonna rush to try and get it with the school vote.
No.
No.
No, but August is not that far away because the state primary, if I want it on that ballot, has an earlier deadline than if it's just a local. So.
good to know.
They're due 45 days prior, so that means.
So
We could still do it as a paper ballot that the
You
tabulator
have to
didn't.
do
come.
a hand
Yeah.
count.
Yeah.
Which,
Well, you
That's
could
fine.
do the tabulator, it had, for a local election, it's 20 days prior to have the ballots available for
so
anybody
just
who requests
be
them.
a separate ballot.
It would be a separate
I
ballot.
think, I personally, I think we don't want something like that on a ballot with a bunch of names. I think we want it separate.
Separate, yeah.
Somebody, at least a separate piece of paper.
Yeah, we could do that.
So would that
So
mean
it'd
we
be a-
need to do it in June?
Well, I'm
No, we would
thinking,
do it in August when they do the,
we're doing
Well,
it,
the election.
I think July 1, should we pick a date?
Submitting it.
right,
Should we say to the board, July 1, we should have our meetings with the public and things like that?
yeah, we may
we
have
have
to
it
have a
before that.
discussion before that.
Oh, yeah.
because that's what I
Long
want.
as
should we aim
We have
to
to
for
have it
May?
wrapped up, done, ready to go to print by
May.
July 1.
May.
Val says May. but-
Okay.
Right, no, I wanna do it in May, but
Well,
deadline, drop dead deadline is, it's gotta be
We
done
may
by
have
It's
July.
gotta
1.
be done by July 1 in
Right,
order
exactly.
to
That's
make
why we
the
need to
vote.
do
Right, that's what I'm saying.
if we have that public hearing, I was talking to Kevin Brown, we may wanna add something more to that, do a change to that, so it may require two public hearings.
So May then would give us.
May would be a good public hearing time.
Okay,
I'll tell you later.
okay.
So if we add other stuff, we still have, we have to run
Run
that
it back.
by,
Goes back.
Just to,
and then
it just
comes
has to go back
us.
to them. They
Right,
have to
okay,
give us
for
comments.
comment, yeah.
And if there's
I wanna talk to
substantial
Kevin
enough-
I'm getting you, Valerie, I'm getting you. Yeah, go ahead, Valerie, you're trying to get in.
So if we're going, if the select board is going to have a conversation about adjustments to be made, then that really should happen in April or
Right.
May. So that we know what the adjustments are and then allow the planning commission to respond and then have the time to advertise that.
Can we push in the April, the solicit engineering and design services for DPW facility, can that be pushed off by a couple months?
Sure.
Or is it, okay,
Yeah.
because that's a big discussion and I don't think there's any,
Well, I don't think soliciting somebody for design is as big of a discussion as when we have
Actually
them
get
here to
design.
that's,
decide
yeah,
what
that's
they want.
true. But it, I mean, it does require
Yeah, it's,
some
Well, the closing
thought
on
put into that.
Hewitt Route 165.
Eric's already got it designed anyway,
That
so
won't-
we're all set.
that won't be
He's
part of
working
the
on it right
meeting.
now back there.
The closing on Hewitt
Okay.
Road, that won't be in a meeting. That'll just
Right, that's
happen,
true.
so
Okay.
that's not really gonna be.
So yeah, I think you're right, Val. I think April would be a time
Yeah,
to discuss that, to bring it.
that way, if we need to have another hearing, we'll have time to do that before.
So it comes to us, we have that discussion,
If we have a change,
potential changes.
we send it
Back
to
to-
back to
PC,
PC.
they come with our comments, and then we have to have one more hearing.
Okay. And then one
And
more
then we
hearing,
vote.
and then it's the vote in
Yeah,
So
August.
that would be late April, is that what you're looking at?
Yeah, I would put it as
Late April.
the 22nd.
I would like to see one of the select board's goals is Valerie's unended long list on the back page. Try to click off a few of those, the low hanging fruit stuff. Maybe
You're
one a
talking the
month, try
current
to,
project activities?
Yeah.
or-
just, we keep adding to that. We seems like
Or
put three
pending
on
in
and-
future.
yeah, pending or future stuff.
There's a few
What are we
lists,
talking
there's
about?
a few lists there.
Now, some of the current project activities, those are already in the works. It's the pending future projects and activities
Correct.
that we're talking
Because
about.
bus shelters is on that list.
Right,
Yep,
so is the firehouse drive streetlights conundrum.
yep. And how many years ago did we have, we were going to throw up some roads?
Do what?
throw up a couple of roads,
Oh.
or make them
That's
class
on there.
4.
She's got
Oh,
class
right.
four road
Right.
maintenance
The class for road
policies.
maintenance policies, it's on there.
You need to get that resolved.
Yeah.
Yep, you know,
And she actually has that on, what did I
That's
see that?
current.
I saw that.
Yeah, class
So
4.
that's
Class
just
four
one of
roads,
my
that's
goals.
on July 8th and 22nd.
Okay,
I
and
love
it
it.
being
Okay.
5 and 9 now, it moved right up an hour, real quick. Are we all set with the number 4?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, number 5, consider request from the Bristol Fire Department to use technology reserve funds to purchase 4 tablets for a total of $2,036. Brett is here for that, I believe.
So moved.
What, can I,
Second.
I have a question.
You can do it,
Wait a minute, I got a motion in a second. Okay,
Yeah, 'cause
discussion.
Brett's gonna be mad if I just say that and then he doesn't
He
have to
doesn't
discuss
say
anything.
I didn't hear.
We made a motion,
motion
why I'm in a
and
second.
seconded it.
Now we're asking for
What do
discussion.
you currently have? Do you have iPads or Samsungs?
No, we have 3 Samsung
Oh, okay.
tablets.
That's what I,
Yep.
because I saw that you were
They break
looking at
down more.
Samsungs, I'm like.
Yeah.
They break
So
down more
iPads.
than
Those tablets were acquired approximately 10 years ago through a grant
Grant,
that
yeah.
Deputy Chief Foreign had gotten. One of them is, it just died. But
Recycle.
if you weren't aware, with the exception of our monthly meeting agendas, which that'll probably change pretty soon, we're essentially a paperless fire department. And we rely upon those tablets for one, doing our monthly inventory tracking, because we use a software called PS Tracks. It's specifically for the fire service. I can tell you what every gadget is in every single compartment on that truck, and any serial number. It's just all documented. And
It's an inventory.
it's an inventory system. It's exactly what it is. But in addition, every time we utilize a piece of equipment, whether it be a self-contained breathing apparatus after a carbon monoxide alarm, or anytime we return from a call, those vehicles that rolled, they have to be checked back in. Did you fuel it up? If you used the water, did you refill the water tank? Did you plug the headsets back in? It's just reminders, and these things are done with either with the tablets or in someone's personal smartphone. So, because the first Wednesday of the month, you see 20 firefighters on the apparatus bay floor with either the tablet or their phones doing their inventory.
Yeah.
So they're valuable tools, and James Cole, are you on?
He was.
He
earlier.
He might still be.
Yeah, still, I'm here. If you
Oh,
can
you
hear me.
are still here, okay. So if there was any technology questions, about the specs, James spec'd these devices out for us. It's one of the advantages to being a part of a volunteer type fire department is you have all these people from different walks of life and all their professional skills they bring forward. And James is that person when it comes to technology for us. He's been a tremendous asset for the organization since he came on board a couple of years ago. And he's spent a great deal of time speccing these out, find the best price for the town of Bristol. Did you all see the email? Yeah, okay. With the specifics, we're going with the lower end models, but you'll see there's a total of 4, and there are different prices. And James, can you speak to why those 2 are different very briefly?
Sure. The biggest difference between the 2 models that we're looking at is 2 of them have cell phone antenna built in, so we can use them on the truck. If we want to pay for the monthly service, we'll be able to utilize them on scene, as needed in the future. So, and then the other ones come with slightly more RAM, more storage, but they're about the same price. So that's pretty much the big gist of it. We already have the Samsung tablets. These will fit in the same mounts that we have in the vehicles now. They're pretty affordable as far as tablets go. You guys see the individual prices on each one. If there's any specific specs or details you want to go over, let me know. The bottom line is the ones that we have are way out of support. They have no security updates, no software updates for years now. They're starting to die just of old age. So they have to be replaced one way or the other, or they're going to basically replace themselves.
Or we're going back to binders and a lot of paper.
Oh, no.
Exactly.
No.
And those, the 2 that have more storage, so something that's coming down the pipe in the emergency services organization world is pre-planning. That's going to eventually be a requirement for us to pre-plan, businesses, high risk areas.
Buildings like this.
Buildings like this.
And so we'll need to be able to reference those pre-plans out in the field. So that's a device to allow us to do that.
And so that will work for that purpose too. the ones that
Absolutely,
you have.
absolutely.
And
Yeah.
Brett, correct me if I'm wrong, you also can like, if you go to a hazmat spill, we used to have the big old book that we open up.
Mhm.
And now that's all online. You
Yeah,
can do that from your.
Joel's
tablet.
referring to the emergency response guidebook. So there's a lot of great tools for firefighters for initial scene operations, whether it's a hazmat incident, whether it's a motor vehicle crash, and when we're dealing with all this new technology that's out there, that, hybrid vehicles, when we don't have a lot of experience, we can quickly pull up an app, like, okay, don't cut there. That would be bad. Seriously, I mean, I'm making light of it, but it's just the technology changes so fast in vehicles, and it's just another great tool for us out in the field.
Electrical vehicles, they're, 480 volt, so it's not something you wanna cut.
And I certainly don't feel like I need to justify to you all, because you've always been so supportive, but I believe this is the first time the fire department's ever asked to use the technology fund. Yeah. And we 100% use, with the exception of these 3 tablets, our personal phones, our personal laptops, and Middlebury College has donated laptops to us twice. So, yeah.
I'm not trying to push everyone along, but this seems like a no-brainer, so should we?
One question I had, just in terms of the ones that have the cell, is it a fixed plan that you have to then pay for, or is
Well,
we're in conversations with Bristol PD right now, Eric, and maybe James is, but we haven't committed to that yet. We just want the ability to do that, because obviously there's going to be a fee associated with that. So, several of us have hotspots on our phones that we could utilize. But then you're also using your personal phones to do that, so.
Yeah.
Okay. Any more discussion? Brett, anyone need more information?
In my notes, I had suggested, I didn't know if there were any additional fees like for shipping or something like that, or if you needed some additional support. So I just threw out the suggestion of upping it, just rounding it up to $2,100.
Thank you for the extra $65 or whatever it was.
And you need that motion?
Yes.
You make this motion, Peter? Are you guys all comfortable with moving that up to $2,100?
Yes.
Peter?
Yep.
Okay, any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Stay, okay.
Great, thank you. James Cole, thank you very much.
Yes,
Thanks, James.
Thank you.
All right, thank you all.
Now you
Thank
can
you,
go
Brett.
home.
Have a good evening.
Consider invitation for select board members to participate in the MAUSD March 26, 24 school board meeting, to participate in an interviewing interested candidates to fill 2 vacancies on the school board until the next election.
Boy, I would love to do that, but I'm gonna be in Mexico.
So you're coming back? You're gonna cut your strip short?
That's why they have.
Probably Zoom.
Probably Zoom in. What date is that?
26.
I know.
It's a Tuesday.
Excuse me, Tuesday. I'll try to make that. Or.
Is it just a courtesy thing, or do they,
Well,
is there some sort of role that
They send the names to us. We have to appoint the person.
Oh, okay.
Because it's a school
So that's
board.
why.
Do we still have to appoint them? I know last year I went over and sat in on the interviews and we had discussion and we appointed them that night, right from there.
Right, that's what I'm wondering, yeah.
Do they have to be appointed by the board or?
It's not us. It's the district.
It's
Yeah, that's what I thought it was
Yeah.
separate.
It used to be a select board function, but it no longer is. But the school board looks for select board input, but it's their decision.
So they're typically the way it happened the last time, I think it was last year, went over, sat through the interviews, and then there was a discussion and then everybody voted. So you will be whoever goes will be voting that night. And you do have to be there on time for the discussion or they won't allow you to vote.
And if 3 of us go, we have to warn it. So if you're
I
gonna
would
go,
recommend notice as a special meeting.
it's it, right, Valerie? If 3 of us go, we have to warn it?
Correct.
I also will not be in town, so.
I'll just be getting back in town, so.
Okay, alrighty.
So is that you, Joel?
Yeah, I'm gonna
Okay.
try to make that.
So just Joel.
Yeah, okay, review and approval of the January 29th, February 1st, February 12th, February 26th, and March
Thanks, Brett.
4th, 2024 meeting minutes. Valerie had sent them out on email today. I saw them.
I have not had a chance to go through them.
Yeah, I only sent the January 29th and February 1st.
Right.
The others are still in progress.
Okay, do we want to, and you didn't read them January 29th?
All right, let's see if we can all read through them and have comments, because that's a big, long list.
Yep.
So let's see. If we
I'll
can
get the rest of
Nice.
them in a more
Next.
timely way.
I expect you to have them taken care of next meeting.
You're not gonna be here. are
March
you?
4th was a town meeting, right?
Uh,
March 4th
the
is town
special
meeting.
select board part of it, the
Okay.
police district. So that should be pretty
Police
short.
district.
Okay.
Okay, I will move that to the next meeting.
Mhm.
Okay, authorize accounts payable warrants and a liquor or tobacco license.
We have a lot of liquor licenses or tobacco.
Both liquor and tobacco.
I make a motion to approve those.
Second,
Which ones are they?
Which one are we doing first?
they're,
Payables,
ten,
Sharon, who are the liquor licenses?
Bristol Country Store is 3 or 2.
tandem.
Shaw's is the liquor license, Tandem is a liquor license, Champlain Farms has a liquor license, Bristol Country Store liquor license. But Champlain Farms and Bristol Country Store also have a tobacco license and a tobacco substitute license.
Are any of those new or just renewals?
They're all renewals.
Okay.
We don't have anybody in.
It's not the one on.
No.
Not the one I'm looking for.
I haven't seen.
Not that one.
And the pay orders is $102,095.24. Everybody has signed it, so. Okay, what's your pleasure?
Do you have a motion and a second?
Motion in a second? Who made that motion in a second?
Ian.
Okay, motion in a second. Approve the pay orders and the
No,
liquor,
the
or
liquor
just the liquor license and the
And
tobacco.
tobacco. Right.
I just have a question. What's the substitute tobacco license?
Vaping, I guess.
Vaping,
Oh,
Yeah.
vaping stuff. Oh, okay,
artificial.
just didn't know.
Yeah.
What you
All
wanna
right.
call that?
All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Okay. Alrighty.
If we don't approve them, then they can't sell that stuff?
Right.
Yeah. Maybe we should think about that.
Doug Corkins always refused to sign tobacco licenses when he was on.
Uh,
No, we don't sign them anymore.
number 9, select board roundtable. We'll start with Ian tonight.
I'm still working on the bus shelters. I'm getting there.
Are they broken?
I'm
I
getting
think of
there.
you every time I pull in front of
I
Walgreens.
know, it's the big hole. So I'm working with Randy Sargent to get the a crane. Of course, now it snowed. It was nice and it was gonna be looking like we could actually put it in. So I'm coordinating with him to get a large crane to be able to pick it up and move it. And then I'm just working with Parmelo to have them set it. They're eager to get it in because they don't wish to have a big hole right there. Not a big hole, but it's a bit of a drop.
Yeah.
People fell into it. So working on that. Also working with Richard Butts on the Energy Committee. We have, who's coming from, let's see, hang on. David Roberts from Drive Electric VT, that website. He's a part of that organization. We're having discussions, sort of, again, ideas of where, since Rich has been working on the electric vehicle charging, we have the level 2 grant, we've applied for the level 3, just to see where we are with that, and we're looking at the different sites. We've previously talked about location, maybe the back of the park. We've also entertaining private property. We have Tom Wells, who has the old Sprout House where Mountain Greens was. He's interested in having chargers there. They've sort of explored it before, but again, it was a monetary thing and just being able to get it. So we just want to see what's possible. So I created a map just detailing where the 3-phase was, if it's level 3, how close things are. And we know it's near Parmelo's piece, so we're going to sort of, going to have a conversation with a person from Parmelo just to see what arrangements they have for electric vehicle charging in their property that they manage. So.
And so if the town puts them in and it's on private property, who maintains them or has like a.
We'd have to figure out how to do that. Yeah. I think ideally it sounds like if the town is able to facilitate getting the charger through grants and maybe some money from the town, and one of the ideas was using ARPA funds.
Right.
It seems like the better thing to do is to be able to help facilitate and get that infrastructure there, and then the person who owns the property would manage it. And they could take at a fee, which a lot of the charges have, and be able to manage that way, so it's out of the town's hands. Anything that would be on our land, we would then take responsibility. We could do the same thing, so it covers software subscriptions a year, but I think it's, from what we've read back and forth discussions, it seems like I think having the property owner take on the onus of that, even if we can help get that infrastructure there, is the better approach.
Okay. Anything else, Ian?
Yeah, that's good.
Michelle?
You're good.
Bigger? Jessica, your first time, you wanna?
Yeah,
continue?
well, on the Bikes and Pedestrian Committee, we've been talking about trying to meet with the town grant writer to figure out what the grant cycle is for V-Trans and other places, so that we would be able to write grants.
Okay, and speaking of the electrical chargers, across from our branch in Virgins, Chittenden has got two. Now, this is the big, this is
Yeah.
the
so
big
that's level
45,
three.
level 3, the
Those
biggie.
are big.
They're big. I just took a couple pictures I call it the refrigerator model versus the dorm size model.
Right. level two.
This is the college dorm refrigerator. So see how much smaller it is?
So where are those in Virginia?
They're right on Green Street, right where the old right just above the fire station
Okay.
in that parking lot.
Oh, okay.
Right
Oh,
along
they're
school.
the same ones that I took a picture of.
Okay. So that's,
They
okay.
had these all finished, I thought I'd take a picture. the other
Okay.
day.
Yeah,
They're, I just want you to, if we're gonna put those on the park,
Yeah.
they're huge.
Oh, yeah. No, I know.
there's a huge difference there. I
Yes.
just wanted to say that.
Yeah.
And then, I just wanna thank the voters for coming out Monday night and Tuesday for voting, and thank you for giving me another 3 years to vote, to help represent you, so.
You didn't get enough write-ins, I guess, so, as you challenged the audience on Monday night.
Yep, so, and, I do have one, thing for the ARPA committee. Did they not, this gentleman put in for a request and he didn't hear anything back when we're landed on the list. It was Ken Weston. He said I could use his name. He put in for the town be interested in using some ARPA funds to buy the development rights from the A. Johnson Lumber Company up on the back of the mountain here. The backside of behind you and everywhere
Yeah.
else. He says, could that ever get developed if the town used ARPA funds? And he never heard how that came out. And I says, Ken, we
Yeah.
only go on the ones they bring us, not the ones
Right.
they don't bring us.
Yeah.
So I just said I'd bring it up.
I mean, yeah, there were an awful lot of submissions by the public. I'm not sure how those.
I don't think that didn't come to the committee.
That doesn't sound familiar to me.
No, I mean, we heard them
I
all.
wrote it down.
Yeah, and we have all the
I
information
typed
from
every
everybody.
single one in,
Yeah,
so I
right,
remember
right,
them
because
He said he
all.
sent a letter to buy the development rights from the A. Johnson and Bill Sayre family with ARPA funds. They own all the way down to the backside of
yeah.
those houses
Yeah.
on Mountain Street.
Yeah,
And whether more houses going up on that mountain.
Yeah.
And I said, I'll just bring it up, Ken. I
Yeah.
no. So just, I thought
Yeah, no, it's good to know.
so and that's all I have for my roundtable. Valerie?
Well, I do have some updates. Tomorrow, as you may know, is the deadline for the library capital projects grant, which is a huge undertaking. I've been working very closely with Frida and with the new library director, Katie, on coming up with a proposal, a very large proposal. All the communities are encouraged to think big, and we are. And so we've been putting a lot of effort into coming up with capital projects that are doable, are reasonable, are needed, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that deadline is tomorrow, which is one reason why the minutes haven't been done, because we've been working on that. It's quite an undertaking. So that's going to be most of my time tomorrow, as we're working with them to try to get this across the finish line. Also, FEMA, yeah.
Hold on.
I met with Katie today. We had a good discussion about the different projects, and I tried to put some numbers and help with that. So hopefully you'll have a little bit more to work with tomorrow.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Ian. Yeah, there's a lot. Especially
right.
with the three of us that really have like this much experience in some of those topics. So the other thing is Frida and I and Eric are continue to work closely with FEMA folks on the July flood response. Frida's focusing on more of the townwide stuff, the Notch Road, Lower Notch Road, Meehan Road, those places. And I've been focusing on the Briggs Hill project, and it's time consuming, and they continue to require more documentation and more information, more layers of things. So we're still working through that. Basin Street, we met with the engineers, forget exactly, it wasn't last week, maybe the week before, for their preliminary findings on Basin Street improvements. And one of the next steps is for them to make a public presentation to the select board. But they agreed to arrange to meet with the property owners first, so that we can meet with the property owners first, and we can have a conversation with them about the proposed alternatives before it comes to a public meeting, so that we can get their responses, their concerns, their ideas beforehand, and we can make any adjustments before it goes prime time. And another thing, tomorrow I'll be going to a meeting at noon with the Addison County Emergency Management Directors, so we can kind of collaborate on who's doing what for planning for the eclipse on April 8th. And related to that, I'm trying to convene a meeting of Bristol's emergency responders to also just meet and discuss it. What kind of preparations do we need to be planning for? What don't we know that we should be thinking about, and just try to just anticipate a large number of people in or around the town that don't know the area. We can anticipate traffic issues, perhaps people looking for places to stay. There aren't any necessarily, or places to eat, and then there might not be enough places available. One thing we haven't really talked about are like portalettes. Do we need to put up portalettes just in case? Now, even though the event is a very short period of time, people are going people are still going to be traveling and making arrangements to stay, and there might be other things going on before and after, and there might be people coming into or around town that didn't make plans ahead of time, and they just show up. And so it's those kind of wayward folks that we also need to anticipate. So
pitching tents on the park.
yeah, so campers and other things that we might not necessarily want at that point. And that is a Monday night, so it's a select board meeting night. So that's about it. There's a lot of other odds and ends going on, but those are the highlights.
Okay. All righty, anything else? That's it? Okay. You all set? Valerie?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Other business, any correspondence reports, correspondence received?
Well, I mentioned in my notes that there are a few, let's see, I did put a copy of the Eagle Park Fishing Platform latest construction report. The closing on the Hewitt Road property is going to be in April. Got a letter from V-Trans about line striping, Center Road striping, and we received an email over the weekend from David, his name escapes me, but about the horses. So he's still
Dennis or David? Dennis.
Hisco, right? Yes. He's still expecting the town to develop an ordinance or do something to deal with wayward horses.
Yeah, that's on our list.
Okay. Ready? Anything else? We'll go to the order. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn then.
Motion to adjourn.
There's a second.
Oh, you jumped right on that
Wait
one.
till we have to be here till 11 or 12 o'clock.
All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Okay, we are adjourned.
Thank you, Val.
Thank you,
Thanks, Val.
Valerie.
Good night, everybody.
What? This is short.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
2.5 hours?
Before 10 o'clock.